field of the Ramayana and all enthusiasts, my humble pranams to all of you too. I am seeking your permission to present this paper on the Ramayana. I belong to the department of Vedanta, and philosophy is of special interest to me. And when Ramayana was chosen as a topic for the seminar, the first thing that came to my mind is the philosophical message that are there in the Ramayana. And while preparing the paper, I have dealt upon this particular topic of the Ramayana. The philosophical vision of the Ramayana, an engaging dialogue between Jabali and Rama. So there is a very interesting dialogue. It's a dialogue between the philosophy of atheism and theism in one way. And it's quite interesting to note how such a philosophy can very well be presented in the words of Jabali and in the words of Rama. And we will see that in this context. So philosophy is essentially a deeper understanding of truth. So the word philosophy is used in multiple senses. The philosophia, the love of wisdom, encompasses the study of the basic ideas about knowledge, right and wrong reasoning, and the value of things. The Astika Darshana, in the same sense of theistic systems of philosophy, has the fundamental conviction of suprasentials, the Atindriyas, validity of the scriptures, and particularly the conviction of an intelligent creator of the universe. The distinctive feature of philosophy lies in its treatment of the message of an ideal life and divine workings beneath the superficial mechanism of nature. In this perspective, philosophy may be recognized as twofold: the intuitive philosophy, which realizes the divine force pervading the entire universe in its systematic working of grand design. And by mentioning the grand design, I am referring to Stephen Hawking and Lodinow when they use the word grand design to quote, "The laws of nature are such that given an initial conditions, they will inevitably lead to the development of the universe that we see today. This is what we mean by a grand design. The universe is the product of a law-bound process, not of a benevolent creator." So it shall be seen as to how the Ramayana here tackles this particular question of Stephen Hawking. The other is the practical applications of philosophical ideas for the betterment of one's life. The Ramayana of Valmiki has many philosophical musings throughout the work, which are both intuitive and practical. Many episodes and dialogues of the Ramayana have both explicit and implicit philosophical message. One such episode is the dialogue between Jabali and Rama. The dialogue in the prima facie mode of Jabali and philosophical sayings of Rama has very subtle aspects of philosophy, particularly the examination of atheism and utilitarianism. So although atheism primarily means a philosophical or religious position characterized by the disbelief in the existence of a god or any gods, reference to Webster Dictionary of Atheism, it is used in the sense of disbelief in the higher good achieved quite divinely by the sacrifice and the ethical ways of the ideal world. It is in this sense that the word Nastikya has been used in this context of the Ramayana, since Jabali's dialogue shows more disbelief on truth, sacrifice and higher ethics rather than directly on the existence of God. The present paper concentrates on a critical examination of the philosophical musics in the dialogues of Jabali and Rama appearing in the Ayodhya Kanda of the Valmiki Ramayana. The dialogue between Jabali and Rama appearing in the 108th Sarga of the Ayodhya Kanda of Valmiki Ramayana is interesting from philosophical perspective. The context is set in the backdrop of Rama's high standards of ethical philosophy. As the story unfolds, Rama had taken up the exile for 14 years, as hesitatingly commanded by his father Dasharatha. Rama's stepmother Kaikeyi had used the promise of word from Dasharatha by imposing exile upon Rama, and also to see that her son Bharata ascends the throne of Ayodhya as the king. Bharata, having known the unethical designs of Kaikeyi, chides her for her undue behavior. Quite immediately, Bharata reaches the place where Rama had been in the forest and requests him to return back to Ayodhya and ascend the throne as the king, as Dasharatha has passed away, heartbroken by the incident of Rama's exile. Ramayana Ayodhya Kanda, Sarga 7 to 101. In this context, Jabali, one of the ministers of Dasharatha and also a learned person, makes a mock advice to Rama to take up the kingship. The pretense of Jabali may be judged by internal and external evidences of the text. Jabali did speak in the words of an atheist in this context. However, after a fitting reply by Rama in the next Sarga, Jabali unfolds his real intention. Jabali speaks about theistic words and at the end of the conversation accepting the words of Rama. Iti Bruvantam Vachanam, Sarosham, Ramam, Mahatmanam, Adina Satvam, Uvacha Pathyam, Punarastikam cha, Satyam Vachaha, Sanunayam cha Vipraha. It is Valmiki Ramayana, second Kanda, 109, 37th verse. We may note that the epithets Vipra and Brahmanotta has been used for Jabali in the 37th verse of the 109th Sarga and the first work of the 108th Sarga respectively. It indicates that Jabali was not truly a heretic but a learned scholar present in the court of Dasharatha. Markandeyotha Maudgalyo Vamadevascha Kashyapaha Katyayano Gautamascha Jabalishcha Mahayashaha Ete Dvijaha Sabamattaihi Prutagvacha Mudirayan Vasishtamevabhimukaha Sreshtam Rajapurohitam. Valmiki Ramayana 2nd to 67.3. However, Jabali seems to have spelled out the stand of atheism at times only to implore the administration to be practical oriented and maybe even to portray the stand of atheism prima facie. In the first verse of the 110th Sarga of Ayodhya Kanda, Vasishta mentions Jabali while speaking about the creation of the universe. Vasishta subtly states that even Jabali accepts creation and the destruction of the universe. The tone of admitting even Jabali is suggestive to Jabali speaking out Swabhavavada many a times. So Swabhavavada is the theory that the universe, despite its grand design, has come into existence by the natural laws of physics. The role of a cosmic intelligent designer of the universe is denied as unnecessary and laborious. Obviously, the Swabhavavada existed since the beginning of the human race, both as an apparent look at nature and also as a denial of the creator God argument alias Ishwaravada. Ashwagosha's Buddha Charita, Gunaratna, Sarvadarshana Sangraha, Sarvasiddhanta Sarasara Vivechanam note at this theory. It is refuted by almost all major theistic philosophers. The Shvetashvatara Upanishad 1-2 mentions the words Swabhava and Yadrucha as the proposed causes of the universe. The evolution of the consciousness naturally out of the insentient is reserved by Charvaka thinkers in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, noting at Vijnanaghana. These are interpreted otherwise as per the Ishwaravada and Brahmavada of the Taittiriya Upanishad's causality, Yato va imani bhutani jayante, and the Brahma Sutra, Om Janmadhyasya Om. The Sarvadarshana Sangraha, chapter 1, page 11, summarizes the Swabhavavada as Agnirushno Jalam Sheetam, Sheeta Sparshas, Tata Nilaha, Kenedam Chitritam Tasmat, Swabhavat Tad Vyavasthitihi, and I have quoted many other texts of Nyaya Kushumanjali, Nyaya Sutra, Nyaya Bhashya, and others. So, coming here, I will move further to the time constraint, and I have made a chart here, a table representation of the atheistic stand of Jabali and the theistic philosophy of Rama in the Ayodhya Kanda 108 and 109. We can note in the Sarga 108, Jabali tries to unfold the philosophy of atheism in one way and tries to implore Rama to take up kingship. So, to begin with, the Ramayana itself states that it is Dharma Viruddha, and it proceeds with Rama's rejoinder in 109, Sarga 109. Theism is the word of common man, and it doesn't give any sense according to Jabali in Shloka 2. And I made a compilation here as to how every question of Jabali, Salpa laptop, every question of Jabali, of course I have the chart here. I forgot all about it. So, Jabali feels when you start speaking about sacrifices, doing good to others and other things, it's just a common man's language and doesn't make any sense according to Jabali in verse 2. But the answer to that is given in 109 Sarga by Rama in the 4th verse, that of course when we deny the ethical philosophy, it doesn't give the good to the society at all, and it cannot be claimed as a philosophy at all. We may remember the words of Madhvacharya in the Vishnu Tattva Vinirnaya, Yasya tau nabhimatau naso samayi, samaya prayojana bhavat. So the moment ethical philosophy is denied, it brings more harm to the world. And in Shloka 3 and Shloka 4, Rama answers it. Moving further, Jabali says there is no relation for anyone to anyone. Dasharatha has nothing to do with Rama, Kaikeyi and Bharata, and respectively one another are not related. But Rama says in 24 and 25 that the word has to be respected, Satya has to be respected, and whatever promise Dasharatha has given has to be followed by the son. So Jabali says relatives are like resting places in 5 and 6 shlokas. But however, Rama denies that and says this particular karma, the obligation to give away the kingdom and go in exile, has to be followed and should not be forsaken at any cost, and it is this karma which actually fetches heaven and others. And very very often Rama mentions the effect of heaven and suprasential things in shloka 28. And mundane sorrow is not needed according to Jabali. He says, why should we actually experience sorrow? Why should we take up the path of truth and experience sorrow? We may as well go in the path of happiness and leave truth. But Rama answers, truth actually is the highest good. It is the Parama Purushartha in 15 and 19 shlokas. Kingdom is the Parama Purushartha according to Jabali. And we may remember the words of Charvaka when it is being summarized by Sayana Madhavacharya in the Sarvadarshana Sangraha, that Rajya itself is the heaven and king himself is the Ishvara. But we have a reverberance here. But Rama answers that kingdom should always be truth based and should not be regarded as an enjoyment. And also, king is always obliged to follow dharmartha kama moksha and not necessarily only artha and kama. So moving further, there are certain arguments by Jabali in shloka 13 when he says dharma is futile. There is no need. Ultimately, we would all reach death, and death is going to be the dead end, and there is nothing more. But Rama answers in shloka 20 and 21 that dharma is the actual factor which supports the world, and death is not just the end of the existence, but we have a soul, a consciousness which is which actually ever lasts even in heaven and other suprasential aspects. And Jabali makes other arguments that performing the Ashtaka Shraddha and giving away food in donation and in service is not needed. If so, it would have fetched the same result to a traveler. And Rama answers all that by saying that there is a clear demarcation between what is Aindrika, that is mundane, and what is Atindriya or suprasential. There is a fine line of demarcation. So when we are speaking about suprasential things, it is the Shastra which makes up the Pramana, and it should not be forsaken. So Sarvaloka Darshini is the phrase that is used by Jabali himself to portray his philosophy. But Rama answers in Shloka 2:23 that it is not so. It is apparently pleasing, but ultimately the existence of consciousness beyond the body has to be ascertained, and dharma is the backdrop of our existence. And so finally, what would be the conclusion? In fact, Jabali himself says that the words of Rama are indeed true. He only said that from an utilitarian perspective, to implore Rama to be more practical in viewing the kingdom and not necessarily to advocate the atheistic philosophy. Nanastikanam vachanam bravimyaham. These are the words of Jabali. Nanastikanam vachanam bravimyaham. Nanastikoham. Nacha nasti kinchana. Samiksha kalam punarastiko bhavam. Bhaveya kale punareva nastikaha. Very interesting sloka. That is sloka 38 of the 109th Sarga. So we can see the personality of Jabali here, that Jabali tries to speak about the atheistic philosophy only from a utilitarian perspective. But furthermore he says, Nachapi kaloyam upagatas chanair yatha maya nastikavag udirita nivartanartham tavarama karanat prasadanartham cha mayaida udiritam. So we find a very interesting dialogue between the theistic school and the atheistic school here. And there I also made a note of one of the verses there which mentions that denying of the suprasential things and Atindriya would lead to the irregulation in the world. Yasyatau nabhimatau naso samai is one of the famous passages of SHRIMADRAMAYANAANTAARASHTRIYAGOSTHI from the Vishnu Tattva Vinirnaya, and we find a very elaborate version of this particular way of justification of the theistic philosophy in the words of Rama in this particular Ayodhya Kanda 108 and the 109th Sarga, and I have annexed the footnotes and references in my paper in a detailed way. And I would like to conclude my presentation, and I thank the organizers, Professor C. Upendra Rao, who is chairing the session, a very versatile scholar, and I have seen him for many years in seminars, and my humble pranams to all of you. Dhanyavadaha, namaskara. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes. And one more point that has been noted in the 109th Sarga is that he makes a very detailed note of heaven and other suprasential atindriya things, which Jabali denies. So Jabali, in the sense of Nastika, when he himself says the word nanastikoham and other things, and the Astika and Nastika word appear in the Ramayana also, in the sense that suprasential and mundane things are accepted or not. So Ram accepts atindriyas. Hmm. 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 Yes, yes. I have used the paper. In the paper, I have used the Swabhava, the paper word. Yes. Hmm. Hmm. Yes. Yes, yes. Satyam. And that is exactly why he denies the suprasentials. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Hmm. 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 Yes, I made a note of that in the footnote. Ah. Hmm. Okay. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, yes. Rama very clearly says that in 108. Yes, yes. 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 Mm. Yes, with Satya. Satyameva Pratishtitam. Satyam. 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 Yes. Yes, yes. No, in Chamarajya Sanskrit Pathshala. Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Upendra, Professor in Sanskrit and Indic Studies, in J.N.U, New Delhi. He is going to present the paper upon the glory of Ramayana in Cambodia. He is going to present the paper upon the glory of Ramayana in Cambodia. So I welcome him to present his paper. Please.
सम्यक् भवति भवति एतद्वयं भवतः कृते भवति ಇದು ಯಾವ ಕಡೆ ನೋಡಿ ಯಾವುದು
ಹಾಕಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ
ಬಂತ
Sabhai Namaha. Vastutah Maya, actually I am not going to present something very, very unique, but due to these arrangements, it took so much time. So my topic, as you know, that am Sanskriti vaktum shaknomi, parantu kevalam Angle aham vadami, anyada na chintayetu, kada kada avashyakta asti yat vadami. Ramayana's depiction, Ramayana is depicted in Cambodian Sanskrit inscriptions, sculptures and paintings. Actually, in these subjects, there are four things. One is Ramayana's influence in Cambodia. They have their own Ramayana. About that, I can tell a lot. That is one subject. And again, Ramayana as depicted in inscriptions of Cambodia. That is another one, another portion. And Ramayana is depicted in sculptures on the temples. That is another again portion. And Ramayana is depicted in paintings of the Cambodia. So many things are involved. It's a very big topic. But we will try to deal as much as possible. So long ago, Ramayana of India had entered in the whole Southeast Asia. Most of the people know this. Due to its, why it has entered into, just as we were discussing in the morning, I tell you very briefly that because I studied Sanskrit from my childhood, I am also acquainted with the Sanskrit literature. In entire Sanskrit literature, there is no poem equal to Ramayana. No poem is equal to Ramayana. And this is a wonder how Ramayana entered, crossed the oceans and entered into every country. That is what I wrote. And these countries indigenized the story of Ramayana according to their native cultures. Ramayana is called Reamkeen in Thailand, and Ramakeen in Thailand, and Reamke in Cambodia. On the temples, pagodas and royal palaces of Cambodia and Thailand, both countries, the sculptures, paintings of Ramayana can be found enormously. Reamke. Now, my subject is only confined to the Cambodia. In Cambodia, they have Ramayana. It is called Reamke. And the Cambodian version of Ramayana is quite interesting. And they call first Reamke. Why actually they say Reamke? What is the meaning of that? It's very simple. They call Rama as Ream. They call Rama as Ream. They changed all Sanskrit words and they are using. And in Cambodian Khmer language, plenty of all Sanskrit words, but we cannot recognize them. If you go to Cambodia, they say that Arun Susarai. Arun Susarai means Aruna Swasti. Susarai means Swasti actually. They pronounce it Swasti in that form. And Rama, they say Reem. And Care means Kirti. Kirti, they say care. Ramakirti, actually, they say Ramakirti it is. So they prepared Ramayana like we prepared. You see, very simple. You see, why they prepared Ramayana? Like we prepared, every country, every state, every region is having Ramayana, like Kamba Ramayana, Mulla Ramayana, etc. in Indian regions. Cambodia was influenced by the Indian culture in such a way that it became an extended part of the India in those days. That is why they also have Ramayana. In what way we have in Tamil Nadu, in Karnataka also. In Karnataka we say Ananda Ramayana, what is it? Ananda Ramayana, in Telugu Mulla Ramayana, in the same way they have Rimke. And this is all actually about the Ramayana, how worked the famous French scholar. Actually we had to appreciate and praise his efforts. A great scholar, George C.S. Due to him, we came to know the Indian influence of Cambodia, because he unveiled all Sanskrit inscriptions in Cambodia, and he studied the inscriptions, and due to his efforts, and also there are other French scholars, but he is very important. In 1968 itself, he writes that the Indian culture was popular in Cambodia during the 1st century only. The first evidence of existence of Ramayana in Cambodia is the wheel cantel inscription, dated back to 6th century Common Era, which informs us about the 3 Indian scriptures, that wheel cantel inscription. That is number 1, Ramayana, number 2, Mahabharata, 3, Puranas. The Ramayana continued in Cambodia in its original form till the 14th century Common Era. That means Valmiki's Ramayana was studied and heard in its original form till the 14th century Common Era in Cambodia. Ramayana, they did not have Rimke at that time. Up from 1st to, actually Rimke was composed in the 16th century. And before that they had Ramayana. From 1st century only, they know. What is the evidence? George C.S. wrote in 1968. Who can deny it? So very clearly he wrote, wheel cantel inscription. You see, we have the great source of inscriptions in Cambodia. Due to that we came to know all these things. It's a great thing, really. So now, they know up to 1st to 14th century. We also did same thing, no, in India. First we used it to study Valmiki Ramayana only. And we had the influence of Valmiki. Then later on regional Ramayanas came, same thing happened there also. This is what I wanted to show. Rimke, being inspired by the richness of Valmiki Ramayana, 3 Cambodian scholars composed a Khmer version of Ramayana. 3 scholars, not 1 scholar, 3 scholars. But it had not happened at once. It took 3 centuries for them to compose this Khmer version of Ramayana. 3 centuries they struggled to how to compose Ramayana in Khmer version. Because the Khmer version of Ramayana had been divided into 2 parts. The first one is based on the Balakanda and Ayodhya of Valmiki Ramayana. The second part contains the story of the Uttarakanda. Cambodians have contemplated how to render such a long text of Ramayana into Khmer. It was not easy task for them because the Valmiki Ramayana contains more than 24,000 verses. Therefore, the Khmer authors, like other Southeast Asian scholars, have condensed the story of Ramayana into 5,000 verses. Otherwise, it was not possible for them. And Ramayana, Mahabharata influence you can find in like a Prehroop stele inscription of Rajendra Varman, that is the Common Era 883. We can find the references of many references of Vedic scriptures. In fact, I also wrote another paper on this Indian culture as depicted in the Cambodian Sanskrit inscriptions, which was already published in Tattva Bodha of IGNCA. In the same Prehroop stele inscription, the Rajendra Varman, his date is the 883, we can find the references of Ramayana and Mahabharata, both we can have. So we go ahead because it's long. According to Valmiki Ramayana, Rama and Lakshmana both are tied with the Nagapasha and became unconscious. But so that we can say that this sculpture is based on the Valmiki Ramayana, which was very popular in those days. But later on, when Khmer people have had their own Ramayana, Khmer Ramayana, Ramkian. Actually here what happened, this is the temple where we can find such sculpture. This is the when Lakshmana, Indrajit has shot the Naga Pasha. According to Valmiki Ramayana, both Rama and Lakshmana both are tied with the Naga Pasha. That is why, and this sculpture is based on the Valmiki Ramayana, not Rimke. Actually, Rimke was not there because this temple was constructed in the 11th century only. The Rimke came in 16th century. Very clearly, that means this sculpture shows that they directly used it to study Valmiki Ramayana, they used to hear Valmiki Ramayana. This is the evidence. And they indigenized the Ramayana. They have their own stories, different stories. Like the main important, there are many, we don't have time. One is Hanuman has a son. They say it is Machanub. When Rama was constructing the Setu to Lanka, Hanuman was throwing the all Pashanas into ocean. But all these stones were not coming up into the ocean. All these stones were swollen by a fish. Its name was Suvarnamacha. And Hanuman, after trying so many attempts, he understood where my stones are going. Then he jumped into the ocean. And he went into the ocean and found the Suvarnamacha, and he was very impressed by the beauty of Suvarnamacha. And he married her. This is the story they have. And he came back. And then Suvarnamacha became favorable to Hanuman, and she helped. Later on, she helped for the bridge. Only with her help, the bridge was constructed. And later on, when Rama was taken into Pataloka by Mahiravana or Airavana, they are synonyms, then Hanuman goes into Patala in order to bring Rama back. And how Hanuman goes into Patala, they have their own version again. There was a huge pond on the earth, and that pond had a huge lotus flower, and Hanuman entered into the lotus flower through the lotus stem, that lotus, what do you call it, that Nala, and he entered into Patala. That was the way for Hanuman to go into Patala. He entered into Patala through that lotus flower. And when he entered into Pataloka and there was Dwarapalaka, he stopped him. And he says, that Hanuman says, I am Hanuman, I am great warrior, you cannot stop me. Then that Dwarapalaka said, I am also great warrior because I am the son of Hanuman, he said. Then Hanuman surprised, how I can have son, I don't know, because I don't have any son. And when after little fighting, and then he understood that he is also a great warrior and valorous person, and then he asked him, then he came to know that he was born to the Suvarnamacha, and his name is Machanub. And these are stories they have extra, they have added to Ramayana, like that, this indigenization. And also there are many points of indigenization, like Agni, when Sita Swayamvara took place, all devatas came there on their vahanas, and Agni came on the ram, Mesha. That is what actually Agni's vahana is, Mesha. We say ram, not Rama, R-A-M, ram, the English word. So, but this ram evidence in Indonesia also, 14th and 15th century, we have this evidence. You see, Agni's vahana is actually ram. They also have sculpture there, 14th, 15th century. But in Khmer Ramayana, Rimke, in Cambodian Ramayana, Agni's Vahana is rhinoceros. That is how they changed, rhinoceros. Genda is the Khadgam Mruga, we say in Sanskrit, rhinoceros. So rhinoceros is very famous even in Pali. Eko chare khadga visana kappo. There is a very famous verse in Pali. So, and during my visit of Silver Pagoda, situated near the Royal Palace in Phnom Penh in 2016, I was on the chair, Indian chair there. I was teaching in Buddhist University through ICCR. So there I visited that palace, and then the 120-year-old Ramayana paintings dated back to 103, 1903 to 1904 are there, all in Royal Palace. Very interesting. But they are all these paintings are based on the Rimke, not Valmiki Ramayana. So there is a huge fresco depicting on the abduction and rescue. One portion of the fresco, this is all description, we don't have much time. You can see directly picture. So Hanuman takes Lord Rama to a mountain and pray Devata to look after the Lord Rama. This is how actually they have paintings of Ramayana there based on the, you can see inside the Rama that came, and then Hanuman is praying, Devatas are there, and then Hanuman is saying Hanuman is saving Rama, keeping him in his mouth for one night. Hanuman has saved Rama, Hanuman kept Rama in his mouth. Hanuman Swamukhe Ramam Sthapitavan. Tat Drishyam, tat according to Khmer Ramayana, tat Drashtum Shakyat. You can see that. And here, inside the Hanuman's mouth, we see clearly two figures. Tatra spashtata drashtum nasti, par tatra two figures santi. Tatra one laying down is Rama, the other one is Mayravana. The another fresco also shows only Rama kept on the mountain peak by Hanuman. So who was that figure inside the mouth? The other figure is the Vairavana or Mayravana. This is what actually they have. This description of Vairavana, Mayravana is their own creation. Maybe it is there in our other Indian versions, not in Valmiki Ramayana. Maybe like Kamba Ramayana, maybe in Valla Ramayana, we don't know. They followed ultimately Indian Ramayanas only. So similarly, you can find here also two figures. This is again the Vairavana or Mayravana only. That's what I am showing. So these things have been discussed by me with the local scholars of Cambodia. The story is as follows. According to indigenized इत्युक्ते स्थानीयीकरणम स्थानीय के अनुसार लिख लेना. Indigenized Khmer Ramayana. The name of that mountain is Surakanta, and Hanuman took Sri Rama from Tatala Loka when Mayravana also we also have the name as Ahiravana also, who was the Ravana's friend. And again, some people say Ravana's friend, other version Ravana's son, there are different versions again, who has stolen Rama from Hanuman's mouth. So in this way, we have the story of Ravana. And then now we will come back to the inscriptions. So this Perup style inscription of Rajendra Varman, dated 883 AD, that means the common era, is more than 2 meters high. It is taken from, this is the Kemkok site. Its complete estampage is as follows. This is complete estampage. Actually, there is another figure also. So many verses are there actually. In one line, actually 2 verses are there. Totally more than 200 Sanskrit verses are composed in this inscription. So I am just giving a very short, it is not easy to present in legible manner because it's very big stele inscription, very huge stele inscription. I wrote, 2 meters high. And one portion I have picked up from this, one portion I have picked up and I enlarged it. And here, the verse I am writing here, actually there is a Sanskrit verse that I am writing here, Maricha Iva Ramasya. You see, here they mentioned Rama in inscription. Maricha Iva Ramasya Namad Yekakshara Yasyari Viro, Yasyari Rajo Viropi, Jagam Ananyajam Bhiyam. That is verse number 207 in that inscription. So, Arthat, for this Rajendra Varman, all enemies were afraid of hearing the name of Rajendra Varman. In the same way, in what way Maricha was afraid of hearing the name of the Rama. That is how they are giving example. So you can understand the influence of Ramayana on Khmer culture. The temple this Prarup temple was constructed by King Rajendra Varman during the 10th century. And King Rajendra Varman was the lover of Sanskrit language because he installed a huge Sanskrit inscription here in this place. Once upon a time, it was here, that Sanskrit inscription, but now that Sanskrit inscription is in the museum of Phnom Penh. That inscription is the longest Sanskrit inscription found in Cambodia, and it was nicely written. Let me read some verses of the Sanskrit inscription, even though the inscription is not here, but it was here once upon a time. The verse says, it is a huge inscription containing 288 verses. It's like a small poem. It's like Khandakavya. Bhrantavaruddha mudukarmuka metya ramam rajadapeta marinapa hurta purashrihi yan janaki kila drudhakshata karmukantu rajyasthira sthiti mashakyata napakartu. And very interestingly, this verse describes the Rama. This Rama is very important in entire Cambodia, and Ramayana also is important. That you can see in the Sanskrit inscription. You can see even the name of Rama in this. Ramam, Bhrantavaruddha mrudukarmika metya Ramam, Rajadapeta marinapa hruta purashrihi, yan janaki kila drudhakshata karmukantu, Rajyasthira sthiti mashakyata napakartam. And then he says, the poet describes the King Rajendra Varman. He compares with the Lord Rama, and he magnifies the greatness of King Rajendra Varman. And he says that Simhasanastham avalokya mahabhrutam yam hrushta mahi sumahati shriya maninaya simhasane sthitavati swayameva ramat sitam shriyam tu apajahara mahi bhrutopi sitam shriyam tu apajahara mahi bhrutopi. This is a wonderful verse. King Rajendra Varman, seeing this King Rajendra Varman who is installed on the throne Simhasana, the vast earth was joyful and brought him lot of Sri, lot of fortune. But when Rama was sitting on the same Simhasana once upon a time, she had taken away Sita, the Srihi, Rama Srihi Sita. She has given Srihi to Rajendra Varman, but she has taken away Srihi from Rajendra Varman because Earth, Goddess Earth, has given a lot of wealth, Sri, to King Rajendra Varman. But same Goddess of Earth has taken the Sri, that means Sita, his wealth was Sita, from Rama. So, in this way, there is a beautiful poetry also in the descriptions there. So, the poet, the writer of the inscription, in fact, what he is doing is comparing Rajendra Varman with Rama and enhancing the qualities of Rajendra Varman. That means you can take it as a Vyatireka Alankara. Upamanad yadanyasya Vyatireka sayevahi. I forgot it. So like Vyatireka Alankara here you can sign. And this is the Bafun temple. Bafun temple means actually this is actually if you hear Bafun temple, actually you confuse totally, but actually it is Sanskrit word. Ba means brah. They pronounce, Cambodians pronounce Sanskrit words very briefly and very shortly, very briefly. Like Bharya, they have same word, but they say fai. Bharya only, because Bha, Pa, and Bharya, fai, they say. And Shabda, they say Sap. You know what they say? Mobile phone, we say mobile, but they say Tursap. Tursap means Dura Shabda. You wonder actually, all Sanskrit words they are using. Dura Shabda. Dura, they change. In the place of ta, they put ta. Like that, here also we have that in Tamil Nadu also. Kanta, they say Ganta, Nilaganta, they say Nilakanta actually. So in this way, so ba means actually bra. That means vara. Vara only, va only became ba. So vara became ba. Pawn means bhaun actually, bhaun. Bha became pa. Bhaun means bhuvana. Bhuvaneshwara. Vara Bhuvaneshwara actually, that is the name of the temple. That is a huge Shiva temple. Vara Bhuvaneshwara Alaya. They say Baphoon temple. Vara Bhuvaneshwara. That's what I wrote now there. Ba, Bra, Lord, that is the Vara, Pon, Bhuvan, Bhuvaneshwara, Vara Bhuvaneshwara. And here, I think this, here in Baphuan temple, you can see the description of Ramayana. Here Rama and Lakshmana are standing here, and when Vali and Sudhiva were fighting, Rama has discharged an arrow, and ultimately it is hitting the Vali, and Vali has fallen down. And then you can find here Rama was so, when Sita was abducted by Ravana, Rama was so sad. You can see the sadness was shown by the hand. When head is, his hand is attached to the head, that means that sadness, and that Rama was sad, and he gave his ring to Hanuman to search with Sita, and Hanuman ultimately entered into Lanka after that. And then you can see this episode, here some war. Vanara is fighting with the demon. This is all about the Ramayana. And here maybe Vishwamitra's story depicted here in various manners. So, and this, the Ramayana sculptures and temples you can find like the Ramayana war scene on Praveshadwara of Bantai Samurai temple. That is in Angkur Thom. Angkur Thom means actually, it's a very big area. It's like Angkur Nagara actually, Mahanagara. In that there are several temples. This is one of the temples in Angkur Thom. So here war scene, you can see war and the Praveshadwara only. It's a huge temple. On the Praveshadwara, they have such sculpture from Ramayana. That is from Ramayana. And Ramayana war scene on the Bantai Samurai temple at Angkur Thom. That war scene, just now we have seen that war scene. And actually that person, this left side, Sugriva actually. Sugriva is fighting with Kumbhakarna. So how to find he is Sugriva also, it needs a lot of research because he has a crown. That is why he is Sugriva. Otherwise, who is demon, who is God, it is difficult. There are so many clues to recognize them. Because somebody may think that I have taken from photo from others. That's why I kept this photo also. So that I was there at that time. I was just standing in the temple. I have taken myself that photo. This is only picture, not video. And here the Ramayana war scene on Bantai Samurai temple, Angkur Thom, Ramayana war scene, you can see clearly Rama. Completely you can see the sculpture of Rama. How he is shooting arrows on his chariot is everything very clearly, very nicely. And this is another little bit different, but one sage is reading the palm leaf. This is Bayon temple. Sage is reading the palm leaf. The sculpture on Bayon temple during the 12th century. That means by the 12th century they had the palm leaves and they used it to study everything through palm leaves. So even though paper was introduced by the Chinese at that time, but religious texts were read by palm leaves, not by paper. For example, let me describe one big painting in detail, Ramayana painting here. just this is the Ramayana murals on the Vadbo Pagoda. Murals means wall paintings. Vadbo. What means actually, what means temple actually. Bo means Purna actually. Its original name is Rajapurna. Rajapurna Pagoda. Everybody knows there, but they made it very short. Bo, they say. Purna, Bo. Raja, mural paint Raja. And here you can see, this is the Buddhist pagoda. Buddha's pagoda, Buddha's temple. But inside the Buddha's temple we have Ramayana. That is how actually they have completely adopted Ramayana. There is no difference between Buddhism and Ramayana. They respect. Like in our country, we have very big problems. Everything is politicized. If somebody is praying Rama, he never prays to Buddha. If somebody prays Buddha, he never prays Rama. Like that. They don't have such stupidness. And they have clearly, inside Buddha's temple, you see how Rama's painting.
On the wall of this Vadbo Pagoda, here you can see this is a war scene in Ramayana. Indrajit is going for the fight. The demon who is sitting on the chariot is Indrajit. Because demons have different kinds of painting and devatas have different paintings that you should recognize. So Indrajit is proceeding for the war. And in second painting, there is a Khmer script also which describes about the painting. And here written, Nih Indrajit Chabang Nang Prahlek. Nih Indrajit Chabang Nang Prahlek means now Indrajit is fighting with the Prahlek means Lakshmana. So here Lakshmana is proceeding to Indrajit to fight. The chariot, the devata who is sitting on the chariot, you can find different kind of painting there in his crown and all that. That is why we can recognize the Lakshmana. So Lakshmana is proceeding to fight with Indrajit. Here Indrajit is proceeding to fight with Lakshmana. And here both are fighting. So that is why here written that here both are fighting. In this way, beautiful description of Ramayana, but taken from Rimke, can be found on the walls of pagodas in Cambodia.
This is the Bafon temple again. Let me see whether it is. In Bafon temple, see why actually I am talking very slowly here. There is a reason. The photo camera was prohibited. And everywhere they were sitting, and we just came to one side and silently we have taken that video. That is why I am talking very slowly, see. And all sculpture of Ramayana, as I told. Here, all this is war scene. The war between Rama and Ravana. Here, Rama was not able to fight with Ravana. He was in very high. That is why Rama is sitting on the Hanuman and fighting with Ravana. You can see that. And then here, Hanuman himself is fighting with the 10-headed Ravana. You can see Ravana clearly. And you can also see the 20 hands of Ravana. And this is the depiction of the war. And here, the Sugriva, because due to this crown, you can understand he is Sugriva, and he is fighting with the Kumbhakarna. And here Rama, you can see the complete picture of Rama here, and with his bow, this arrow, Rama is fighting with Ravana. Here you can see the Ravana and his chariot, and you can see the demon faces of his horses. And there Sita is sitting in the Ashokavana in sad mood, and then there Hanuman is fighting with Indrajit, and there is another war scene. So all these scenes are based on Valmiki Ramayana. Ramayana was very popular during 11th century and during Ankur period. The evidence is these sculptures. So people used to enjoy this sculpture of Ramayana story because in those days people know very well the story of Ramayana. And these sculptures of Ramayana are not based on the Ream K, which is the Cambodian Ramayana, because Ream K was composed during the 16th century, but this temple was constructed during the early 11th century by King Udayaditya. So this temple's name is Baphuan temple. That means Priya Bhuvaneshwara. The Shiva is the Lord here. You see what Damanak pagoda, there is another pagoda. I think this we do not get, this video is missing. This Baphuan temple, same picture. And this is Vadbo. You can find Buddhist pagoda, but all Ramayana paintings outside. Inside paintings I have shown, these outside on the walls. You can find again Ramayana. All. And this is one coffee shop. The coffee advertisement, how they are doing, you see. This picture displayed in one of the coffee shops in Phnom Penh shows how famous is the Ramayana story in Cambodia. Rama and Hanuman both are taking coffee. In fact, actually, we went to this coffee shop when Professor Lokesh Chandra was president of ICCR. We have taken him for the coffee to that restaurant. That time I have taken this picture. This picture was there. And Angkor Wat is very famous temple, and there are so many pictures I have not taken. Complete Ramayana paintings you can find on Angkor Wat. Some pictures I have taken from Ramayana. And again, Angkor Wat Ramayana, not clear, but you can find that is a royal. This is a lintel. This is a lintel from Kokhet temple of Kampong Cham province. There are provinces. Province means state. There is a Kokhet actually, Kokhet in Kampong Cham province. This lintel, very interesting actually. It says that this lintel is very interesting. It is from Kokhet temple at the Kampong Cham province. This is from original Ramayana story. This is from original Ramayana story, and locals say that this is not found in Rimke. This is the depiction of Ramayana story when Indrajit shoots an arrow to Rama and Lakshmana with Nagapasha. And with the influence of this arrow, Rama and Lakshmana have fainted. We can notice Garuda also in the center. Garuda also in the center. The sadness of the sadness and lamentation of the Vanaras nicely sculptured in these sculptures. Again, we'll go back. You can see Rama and here. They are both are sleeping in Nagapasha. You can see both, and you can see the sadness on the face of monkeys also. And some Vanaras are lamenting. In center, Garuda has come, no? Garuda has killed these serpents, and then they made free from the Nagapasha. That is why Garuda also is there. That's all. Thank you very much. And these two pictures also from pagoda, one Buddhist pagoda, just above upper portion you have such pictures. The modern Ramayana, Krishna they have in Buddhist pagoda. So this is also interesting. That's why I kept here. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, sir. Yeah.
You have done a great job.
Good
sir.
job.
Thank you, sir.
Very nice.
It's a great service to the extension of the critical boundary of Indian knowledge tradition.
Thank you very much. Dhanyawad. Okay, now. Oh, you can remove that.
it is very pleasing to know that Ramayana has surpassed the barriers of countries and languages. So we thank Upendra now for giving us such information. Now I invite Dr. Srinidhi Pyati, who is principal of Sri Vyasatirtha Vidyapeetha, Mysuru. He is going to speak upon analysis of Wendy Doniger's take on Ramayana. I think it will be interesting subject.
PowerPoint नास्ति किल तस्य अस्ति
श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम सुमुखौ सुंदरतरौ सुनासौ सुखचित्तनो सुराराधितपादाब्जो रमानारायणोस्तुमः लसतु श्रीमदानन्दतीर्थेन्दुर्नो हृदम्बरे यद्वचश्चन्द्रिका स्वान्तसन्तापं विनिकृन्तति तपस्वाध्याय शुश्रूषा कृष्णपूजारतं मुनिं विश्वेशमिष्टदं वन्दे परिव्राट् चक्रवर्तिनम्. My sincere namaskaras to my Guru Sri Vyasatirtha Swamiji and Sri Vishwaprasannatirtha Swamiji, and my salutations to Chair Upendra Rao ji and to my colleagues and audience. Today, after Upendra ji's magnum opus presentation. I need to take care of the presentation. It's like a burden for me now. But I will try hard to present factual analysis of Wendy Doniger's misrepresentation of Ramayana. So before that, I will give a small introduction why I chose this subject. As you know, India was and is a knowledge hub for world, and many civilizations have tried to study India, to understand India. It is started from BCA actually, and in the CA, in the Common Era, after Common Era, many scholars from Greek civilization, Roman Empire, and many from Persian Empire have tried to study Indian knowledge system to understand India. And in the Middle Era, many Persian scholars have studied Indian astronomy, all the other Indian knowledge systems, and they have enriched their own tradition. Some have given the credit to Indian scholars, like Al-Biruni, he has given the credit to Indian sources. But somehow, some scholars, they have just took the knowledge and never gave the tradition, credit to the original source, and they have represented it as a discovery of their own. So after that, the long exchange in the civilization, after the 16th century, when the people from European countries have started to migrate, it means colonize the world, they started to study colonies, not only India, colonies, because they wanted to rule the colonies. To rule the colony, you need to understand the colony first. To understand the colony, you need to study the colony first. That's how the study of the colonist countries started. For the example, and another Western interest for them, it is that they wanted to spread the Christianity in the colonies. For that, many Christian churches have funded enormously to study Indian knowledge systems. In vernacular languages also, you can observe that many scholars have studied the Indian knowledge system and translated and observed that. So in the process, that was called as a colonial study. So majorly we can divide the Indian study or Indology in 4 major parts. One is European study, what I told you now, that many European scholars from German, England have studied India for their own purpose, and somehow they have contributed to Indian knowledge system. And second division can be observed as American School of Indological Study. After WW2, America has gained the power in the world, and they have started to study the world. In the process, they have developed a South Asian study centers across the universities of America. So there, they have started studying South Asia, not only India, South Asia. In that process, they have studied Buddhism, Jainism, including Hinduism. In that, they have started study Ramayana, Mahabharata and all. And another one is left-dominated Indological study. So our own Indian people, with the lens of Marxism and communism, they have started to study the Indian culture, like Professor Irfan Habib and Professor Romila Thapar. You may have heard about them. They have started with their own lenses. And there was a 4th division, which can be considered as a traditionalist and nationalistic Indological study. Like traditionalistic, in the Gurukula system, people have studied India in the sense of studying Indian knowledge systems, and non-traditionally also. And you can observe that in the Tilak's contribution, where the Indian knowledge system used to generate some kind of awareness about the freedom of the India. So in that sense also, in the nationalistic views, R.C. Mujumdar's work on the history of Indian knowledge system, all these can be considered in individuation. So, here the problem is, the fourth one we know, the traditional system of the Indian knowledge system, we understand that, we criticize that, we debate with that perception of the position of the scholar. But in the first three, the problem is the all work is there in English. So many of the scholars from the India didn't aware that what is happening in that system. What European has actually have told about the Vedas. What what American scholars from South Indian Studies Department have actually told about Ramayana. Nobody knew about that. The problem is, because we don't know what they're studying or what they are translating, there is no kind of authority over them. So because they are sitting in the very good positions, American universities are very good universities. They have their own reputations in the world, and the South Asian department also has a lot of credibility in the world, and whatever they have published, it is considered as a credible source for the Indian knowledge system. That's the problem. So when the West studied the India, or the Americans studied the India, even Indian universities studied the India, it was not with the background of traditionalistic view, not with the background of nationalistic view, because there were no major English books even though available, because of the left dominated era of the after the post independence. We majorly observed these books, and because we have not refuted those claims or those translated, after some years what happens is, they have claimed that we are the originals, we have the original authority on these texts. So when you go and debate with them, they will tell you don't know about your own culture. We have authorized that. We have the authority to interpret, to translate your culture, because you don't know your culture. So this was, and even the world accepted it. The problem is that world accepted it. When you write a example, for Sheldon Pollock, if he writes an article on the subject, the major scholars will consider that it is the it is the credible view of that text. If some person with the traditional views write this in Sanskrita, he will definitely consider the English version than the Sanskrit version. That was the problem. This is because we have not refuted in the major platforms. We don't know what is the platform. We don't know the rule book. Sometimes we have started to refute the book, but we don't know the rule book. Because of the rule book, they have defeated us. Sometimes we don't know, we have lack of information about the methodology. Above all this, what happened is nearby 2010, 2012, 2014, till that, we were not aware about this world. We were sitting in some major Gurukula and studying Nyaya, Vedanta very thoroughly. About Ramayana, we will give a lot of pravachanas. We know the shlokas by heart, but we don't have an authority to interpret the text, because the world decided that these people can, Robert Goldman, Sheldon Pollock, these can interpret the Ramayana, not we. So what to do now? So we know that something is wrong in their system. We know that there is a lack of credibility. So what to do? Simple is, write a book. Write a book. Publish it with major publications. Debate in their own language. Play by their rule books, or create your own rule books. So after these, we need to start the effort. So that's why I took, even though it is published in the 2009, Wendy Doniger, she has written 2 books on Hinduism. The first book is The Hindus, an Alternative History. So, you can sense the intentions by looking at the name itself. The Hindus, the alternative history. So he's not believing that whatever traditional view on the Hinduism, she is trying to narrate the alternative history for us. That was the first book, which was released on the 2009, and it has got a lot of backlash from Indian scholars, majorly from, as you can remember, the Dr. Dinanath Batra has fought, furiously, and he threatened the Penguin Books to sue, and after that Penguin Books roll backs those books, claiming that they have factual errors, and but left created a perception that it is not because the factual errors, it is rollback because some kind of right wings force. So this is against freedom of speech in threat, all those kind of things were there in that time. So see, that is another thing. Freedom of speech debate can go on from 6th century, but we need to analyze that in the methodology. And second book, why I am, even though in 2009 the Penguin Books has rolled back those books, even though I am now criticizing or analyzing the book, because she has again written the huge book of 2000 pages titled The Hindus and on Hinduism. Sorry, the second book was on Hinduism, which was published on 2014, and there she has again copied the old version of the Ramayana and again printed that in the book, and again she claimed her version of Ramayana. That's why I took this subject to analyze and criticize Wendy Doniger's book. So I will analyze the book or take off Wendy Doniger's book in three major divisions. One is Ramayana in the crosshairs of Marxism, dispelling false narrative. The first division will be this. And second division will be misleading interpretation, how mistranslation and cherry picking can destroy character legacies. And third one is factual errors. The first one, see, and the one thing I want to tell you, the need of criticism. Some people say, why we have to criticize, why we have to analyze. Okay, we know that Ramayana is correct, but I want to tell you the story. From the mid 2005, you may have heard about the scholar Devdutt Patnaik. He claims himself as a mythologist, and in every airport, you can find his books. He may be, I don't know, but he is representing Indian mythology in a world center. And in the channel called Epic or History, he is telling what is Indian mythology to young students. So young scholars or young students or these Instagram people will not come to you and seek the validation for their narratives. They will go through with their narration. They will not come to Pravachan and Gurukulas. They will not come to anywhere these seminars. They will find that book in the airport, they will read and they will understand our history in his context. The problem, the began, and the Gita, the book by Devdutt Patnaik was, it was a best seller in non-fiction category. So after some times, because of the efforts of Raju Malhotra and Nityananda Mishra, YouTube video was made to analyze the errors of Devdutt Patnaik's books. To your surprise, that YouTube video got 10 million hits. And after that, when the Reliance, they are funding the Epic channel. I think I may be wrong, but they are funding the channel, History channel. In that, when he restarted the telecasting of that episode, Devalok with Devdutt. This was the name of that episode. In the comment section, you can observe that the change. In the comment section, people would come and that, hey, he is not a credible person to interpret our history. So this is the change. After getting the 10 million hits, the people now aware of the situation that who is the real people, who are the real people whom we can trust. So this is the this is the need. This is because we need to criticize in the system they know or they have created. So that's why I am now in short term I will analyze the book. The first thing is that as Devdutt Patnaik himself says that American School of Indological Study, basically they claim that we don't want colonial study because the colonies have they actually suppressed the indigenous theory. They have created a false narration of the country. They have enforces their own theories. But what does American schools do? They also do the same thing. But the problem is that is more dangerous, because they try to create a narration where they include the subaltern people of the Indian countries like Dalits, Muslims, and women. All these prejudice they want to create, and they want to look all our text in that lens. In every analyzation of the text, they will find these things: Dalits and women and suppression, caste, everything they will find, and they will go through with that lens itself. So here we need to be more careful when we will be analyzing. Some people say that the problem is that some people, when they say that there was a caste problem in India, the majorly Indian take it as a defensive, and they say there was no caste. If we say there was no caste, they will laugh. No one will believe. So what would be what would be our approach to that? It must be different. It is not like that we don't have caste, this is not going to work. We have to do with another strategy. Okay, let's take some examples. Now, see, Wendy Doniger analyzes the Ramayana, and she says that Rama took the side of wrong Kapi. He takes the side of Vali, Sugriva. She says he has to take the side of Vali, not Sugriva. Rama only took Sugriva's side because his life and Sugriva's life had a parallel similarities. That's why he felt the tendency to go with Sugriva. Why? See, there was no problem of Vali. Actually the throne belongs to Vali, and he took it from the Sugriva. What is the problem of Vali? And Rama failed to understand this. And again she says, when Hanuman came to Rama, Hanuman says that, see, the problem with Vali is that he took all the rights from Sugriva and he abandoned him, and he took also his wife and all those things he says. But Wendy Doniger says this is actually false. This is false narrative. Actually, Vali was a good man. Sugriva himself is a bad man. There was no threat to Sugriva from Vali. Actually, it is vice versa. There was a threat to Vali from Sugriva. That's why Rama took a bad decision. He couldn't figure out whom he should back. That's why he took, because he finds the similarities of his life and Sugriva's life, he took Sugriva's side. So now, if she throws this kind of information to us or analysis to us, what we should do? First, we should analyze it with internal sources. If these narrative can stand out when we validate them with internal sources. Because if you give the external sources, they will say that there are many Ramayanas and there are many stories. We don't need that. We stick on to the internal sources. So first she claims that Sugriva, Rama took the decision to back Vali because he found the similarities of his life and Sugriva's life. No, that was not the case. Rama took the side of Sugriva because he felt that it is the justice. It is not similarities of his life and Sugriva's life. Even though if he hadn't come to forest, if he had somehow known that Vali kidnapped Sugriva's wife, even though if he was not came to forest, he was the ruling the kingdom, then he would have backed Sugriva. Where in that case, there was no similarity actually. But he found that justice should be prevail. That's why he took the side of Sugriva. How? See, The story goes like this: when Vali and Sugriva were ruling, and Vali was the king, and Sugriva, even though he is nominated as the prince, even though he has not behaved as a prince, he behaved as a servant to Vali. He says in that Ramayana. He says, Rajyam prashasasastasya pitrpaitramaham mahat aham sarveshu kaleshu pranatah preshyavastitah. So it clearly shows that he was not interested in the throne. So how he got the throne? Because some incident arrives, and Vali and Sugriva both went to cave, and Vali went into the cave, and he told to Sugriva that if till I reach to the out of cave, you should stay on the front of the cave. But what happens accidentally the incident developed, and he heard some screamings from inside of the cave, and he decided that it is not Vali may not survive, and to save his kingdom he put some mountain rock in front of the cave, and he came back. And when Vali came to kingdom, he understood his mistake, and he says actually, Natva pado aham tasya mukute nasprasham prabho apivali mama krodhan na prasadam chakara. So he actually submits his throne to Vali. He actually salutes Vali and submits his throne. It shows that Vali was not at all interested in the throne. But Sugriva was not at all interested in throne. But Vali could not believe that his brother abandoned him. Even though he is not abandoning, it's actually a misconception. Tomeva raja manarhaha sadachaham yathashpuram rajabhava niyogoyam mamat tadvirahat kritaha. So actually what happens when he came to Kishkinda, he was not eagerly waiting to get throned. But Amatyas, Mantris decided that no, there should be a king. That's why he coronated himself. Mantris coronated him, and he took the throne. He became a king. So here, what she tries to say that Sugriva actually took the throne of the Vali. It is not the case. Sugriva was, he is trying to submit his throne to Vali. Vali actually took that, and after that he abandoned him. He slapped him. He abandoned him. And Sugriva says that, why you are becoming angry on me? It is totally misconception. Please forgive me. He doesn't forgive. He makes them to leave the Kishkinda. And see, and the major problem is, even though we can agree that because of the misconception, Vali had a anger on Sugriva, why he would take Sugriva's wife into his custody? Sugriva's wife, Ruma, was not interested in to live with Vali. She was forced to live with Vali. How can you justify this? So where is the justice? Is it with Sugriva's side or is it with Vali's side? Of course, when you read the original Ramayana, you can understand that it was the Vali who is actually suppressing the interests of Sugriva, not vice versa Sugriva. But she cherry picks the shlokas, and she narrates this incidents where Rama has decided with his own interest to back somebody, not because of the justice. And this is one. And second part is, so mistranslation and cherry picking. So the second part, where she clearly tried to paint Dasharatha with a bad color. What is cherry picking? Cherry picking is, cherry picking andre ಬೇಕಾಗಿದ್ದು ಮಾತ್ರ ಆಯ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು. ಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋದು ಮಾತ್ರ idiom. So why I have used the cherry picking? Actually, it is not an academic language.
But why I have used this? Because she also used this non-academic language in her book. She says goody goody, baddie baddie. These all words which are actually used in America's young people use these words. Slangs. Or so she has used those words in academic books. That's why I use this cherry picking word. Okay. So she cherry picks some shlokas to paint Dasharatha in a bad manner. How? So when after Agni Pariksha of the Sita, Rama says that if I simply accept Sita without any examination, people would think that, oh, he is very eagerly waiting to accept Sita. So where is the justice? So he says that Balisho khalu kamatma Ramo dasharathatmagaha iti vakshanti mam santo janekim avishodhyahi. So here she cherry picks the word Ramo dasharathatmaja. Why Rama told that son of Dasharatha would be considered as a lustful person if he agrees to accept Sita without any examination. So here son of Dasharatha is a important phrase. From this she implies that Rama knew that people of Ayodhya, what people of Ayodhya were telling or thinking about the Dasharatha. So people of Ayodhya were thinking about Dasharatha as a lustful man. See, this is our narrative. And how to counter argument this narrative. So I tried. See, where actually it is the style of Ramayana where he calls the Rama as a Dasharathatmaja and all those things. But we need to give example. That doesn't work like that. So I took some example. So people say in Ayodhya Kandya, Sahishuro Mahabahuhu Putro Dasharathasya cha. So people say that the warrior Rama is the son of Dasharatha. So here if you want to try to imply because of son of Dasharatha can be claimed as a lustful man. Here because people are calling Rama as the Dasharathasya putraha, Shuraha, then we can also imply that Dasharatha was considered a Shura. And the next step, Yatha Yatha Dasharatihi Dharme Eva Asthito Abhavat. This is important. So here again they call Dasharatihi. Dasharati means son of Dasharatha, and they say Dharme Eva Asthitaha. So now with this shloka we can also imply that Dasharatha was a very righteous person, because here they are calling him as a Dasharati. So this is how I look at this matter. And see, when they study with very, they will not take only one example. They will create a narrative, they will give one evidence, after evidence, they will give series of evidences. So it's not because only one word. So she says that, to support this argument, she uses the words of Lakshmana in the anger state of mind. When Dasharatha decided to exile Rama to forest, Lakshmana was very angry, and he says, Viparitascha vruddhascha vishayescha pradharshitaha nrupah kimivana bruyat chodyamana samanmataha. So here he says that he's actually, Dasharatha is actually influenced by his kama. That's why he is, because he is under influence of Kaikeyi, he is under influence of the lust, he is sending Rama to exile. And she is cherry picking these shlokas when Lakshmana said these words in anger state of mind. Because, why I said anger state of mind? Because Lakshmana himself, praises Dasharatha in some other kandas. So how to avoid these misstatements? It is how we should look up to the situation where people say the words, not only the words. And even she uses the words of Rama where he says that Anathascha hi vruddhascha maya chaiva vinakrataha kim karishyati kamatma kaikeyi vashamagataha. So he directly says that Dasharatha is kamatma, and there are some shlokas where he says, idam vyasanam rajnascha mativibhramam kama evartha dharmabhyam gariyaniti me matihi kohi avidvanapi puman pramadaya krite tejet chandanu vrittinam vartinam putram tato mamiva lakshmana. So Rama himself is, blaming Dasharatha for sending him to Vanavasa. So how to, argue this point? So here we need to go to the traditional view to translate the text. That is upakramopasamharaha abhyaso purata palam arthavadopapatti cha lingam tatparindane. We cannot take directly a sentence and paint that sentence as his own abhipraya. How we should understand what his intention, what his not intention is because of this methodology. Upakramopasamhara. So why Rama is telling this to Lakshmana? Because this situation was when Sumantra left Rama. Rama said that now you can go to Ayodhya, we will go alone. That was the first day. And that was the first night where they need to protect Sita. And Rama and Lakshmana were having discussions. And Rama thought that it is unethical from my side to throw Lakshmana under the bus. Because the exile decision, actually exile was need to done by Rama. It is not, Lakshmana has not to do that. But Rama felt that it is not good for him to take Lakshmana because he want to go to Vanavasa. So he tried to push Lakshmana to go back to Ayodhya. With this, he says that, see, now Kaikeyi is alone in the kingdom. She can influence Dasharatha, and now she can make Kaikeyi, Sumitra to die, even Kausalya to die. That's why there is, it's very haunting situation in Ayodhya. That's why you need to go to Ayodhya. He pressurizes him. When he was pressurizing him, when you want to create a situation where everyone look, bad, in that time, he says that Dasharatha is like that, Dasharatha is like that. So picking up these sentences out of context and coloring Dasharatha as she colored is not a credible interpretation, I say. And the last, in the last segment, I will found the factual errors. There were a lot of factual errors. I just pick 2 factual errors where Wendy Doniger says that, Dasharatha, so to 5 years after Dasharatha has banished Rama, he suddenly wakes Kausalya up in the middle of the night and tells her about this Shravana story, Shravana Kumara story. So here she clearly says, so too 5 years after Dasharatha has vanished. Everyone who reads the Ramayana knows that it was not 5 years, it is 5 days. So she misunderstood 5 days as a 5 years. This was the one factual error. Another factual error, when she narrated the story of the Ramayana, she says that Sita was abducted and kept in the Ashokana for many years. We know that it is not many years, it is some months. So these kind of factual errors are there in both on Hinduism and in the Hindus' alternative history of on Hinduism and another book, the Hindus. So the conclusion is that I hope this will bring awareness among the readers to not to take any work on the face value just because it is published by some reputed publication house or written by some degree position decorated authors. So even though it is published by Penguin, even though it is published by California, Oxford, we not have to take it in face value. We need to examine it. We need to refute it. We need to point out the problems of there, because many people who studied, I need to agree that I need to say that many people who have contributed to Indology Many people have bias, many people don't have bias, and we don't have to mix them up. So there are many great scholars from Indological studies from West, where they have contributed to the Indian knowledge system. We are not discrediting them. We are just saying that where they try to paint our system with their lenses, we need to refute, we need to analyze. Because we belong to the Vada Vivada tradition, we need to continue that. I thank Naksamki Acharya for giving me an opportunity to present my paper on this podium. I know this list was very big, even though I'm considering a small scholar from this community. The Acharya has given the opportunity to me to present my paper. I wholeheartedly thank Naksamki Acharya and whole team of Purnapradya Samshodha Mandira, Purnapradya Vidyapeetha. I especially thank all the scholars and especially chairperson Upendra Kumarji for listening me carefully. Thank you.
Can I say two things just in your addition to what you said?
Okay. The paper is open for
Yes,
question.
please. Thank you, sir. The paper is laudable, and I appreciate the efforts made by you to look into the facts of whatever misinterpretations are given by Wendy. Why the situation occurred? You are trying to give the solutions to the problems. Why does Sheldon Pollock and Robert Goodman are able to write that they are the first-time editors and translators of, I think I'm audible, editors and translators of Valmiki Ramayana's critical edition published by the Oriental Institute, Vadodara? Because there was neither one of us who did that. The problem very much lies with us that we could not produce, hence they had to come all the way here,
Yes, yes.
take our book and then do it. So I appreciate
Yes, yes.
whatever is misinterpreted should be corrected by us. We should be the ones who should bring it out. But this one aspect has to be taken into consideration by all of us.
Yes, yes.
That we need to take the initiative to take our sacred texts and put it before the audience before somebody else misinterprets and put it.
The problem lies with the credibility. Even though in the Ramayana, we have the famous version. That's what Nityananda Mishra had tried to, figure it out. There are two books. When you say critical edition, and another one is Gita Press book.
Yeah.
Lot of people think that Gita Press work is not up to the mark. But
No, it's
even
not like
so,
that.
that is the mindset of academic people. Even though the translator has done by Gita Press and it is very much credible,
Yes.
and it is up to mark. Even people from our
It is not a
Yeah,
critical edition.
yeah.
So there is a difference. Samikshit Avrutti and
yeah,
Avrutti, it's a difference.
but
between
in
edition
traditional
and-
view, we don't believe in critical edition.
Yeah, because which vulgate will you select
Yeah,
if you consider as a
how you
critical edition?
how you do the critical edition?
Naturally collecting manuscripts and
Ah,
the vulgate.
yeah,
the
yeah,
base-
but the methodology itself is the problem. They are not only selecting the manuscripts. If they have selected the manuscripts, the South manuscript clearly state that there is a Uttarakhanda.
Yeah. So I hope one day all of us do this effort
Yes,
of clearing the misinterpretations brought forth by the Westerners into our own system and philosophy and actually impressioning the minds of the youngsters.
Yes, of course,
And you are
yes.
very right, crosswords across, either you may say Amish or whosoever, they do impress and influence the minds of the young readers. So yes, thank you for putting this paper. It was great, a good effort.
So we had to write our own books. There are two things actually. When Indians write their books, you whatever points you have raised, they are very, very, very valuable. But to counter that, the fourth one, the real Indic scholars, those who are writing, and how to stop them, you said that we had to write our own writings. There are two problems. One thing I'm telling you, very practical problems. There are some academicians like you have some ideas and you wanted to write a counter book. And nowadays, Sanskrit scholars, Indic scholars, if they write a book, there is no publisher. And Delhi publishers, they are publishing only for business. And they take your book and they take only 10 copies to you and they sell all those books. And there is no royalty and there is a big problem with the publishers because they are just doing business there. And no institution, no university, no institution is coming forward to publish these books of Indic scholars. If any Indic scholar, you don't know how problems we had to face to publish one book. It's very, very difficult. You see, even after getting typing, you prepare completely your manuscript and give to them. After that, they convert it to other script. And again, it takes some years. So we have big problem in publication. That is one thing. And another thing is, for that actually, I think why I am telling this, some institutions should come forward.
Yes, yes.
Instead of speaking, English scholars should write and we have to develop our own writings. Some institutions, associations, those who are supporting such kind of ideology should think to publish the books of Indic scholars first, without any problem for them. Because they are, for writing book itself is a very big problem. He has to sit for some years and writing and giving book to you and you have to publish it. But there are no publishers now. And those who are publishing giving so much mental torture for Indic scholars. That is one thing. And second is only by publishing books. Also, we cannot achieve this because there are not many readers nowadays per book. Because suppose you are writing a valuable book, and how many people are reading that?
Yes.
People are very much inclined on the internet and watching TV and movies, but not reading. Reading book became actually decreased. And nowadays, everybody is stuck with the mobile phones. And if you leave mobile phone for 5 minutes, you feel there's something I'm losing. I'm losing my Atma. You feel like that. You had to immediately take the mobile. Oh, yes, my Atma has come to me. So this is the situation nowadays. So in this way, we have to think. There are so many, broadly what you are telling, that is a fact. But the thing is, those who are writing books and how to spread this awareness is also challenging.
Yes.
So for that, I think we had to convene such conferences. Also some group discussions and conferences also going into the public and taking these things into the public, and book writing also. Yes. Book writing only is not the solution.
Yes, yes, of course. That's why I told the example of YouTube. You know, mobiles.
Mobile also.
We thank Dr. Srinidhi Pyati for giving such a vibrant speech. Now I invite Dr. K.S.S. Suman, the Head and Research Supervisor, Department, Sanskrit Department, Loyola College, Chennai, to present a paper on women empowerment in Ramayana.
वस्तुस्तुतं सुरस्तो मयि अस्तु शस्तं मया स्तुतं मस्तु हस्तं प्रस्तुताय श्रुतिमस्तकविश्रुतं पृथ्वीमण्डलमध्यस्थाः पूर्णबोधमतानुगाः वैष्णवा विष्णुहृदयाः तान्नमस्ये गुरून् मम तपस्वाध्याय शुश्रूषा कृष्णपूजारतं मुनिं विश्वेशमिष्टदं वन्दे परिव्राट् चक्रवर्तिनम्. Recalling and remembering the great blessings showered on me by His Holiness, my tutor, philosopher, Sri Vishwatirtha Swamiji, because of whom I am before you today. I offer my obeisance to the holy feet of His Holiness and also to the holy feet of Sri Vishwaprasannatirtha Swamiji, who is also my second master after Sri Vishwatirtha Swamiji, who taught me Vedic literature and various nuances of Vedic studies and Shastras, and put me into the path of Dharma. I also thank and would take privilege in falling at the feet of various great scholars of this, which is this great place, which is the one which has engraved, molded my personality. I am ever indebted to all those scholars, starting from Sri Hayavadana Puranika Acharya to all the great scholars. I also would like to thank Dr. Nagasampige Acharya for having invited me and provided an opportunity to study few of the verses of Ramayana and thereby make my research-oriented presentation within a short span of time. Valmiki Gita Raghupungava Kirti Leshaihi Triptim Karomi Kathamapyadhuna Budhanam Gangajalaihi Bhuvi Bhagiratha Yatna Labdhaihi Kim Tarpanam Navidadhati Narah Pitrunam. Valmiki Giri Sambhuta Rama Sagaragamini Punati Bhuvanam Punya Ramayana Mahanadi. I know that Ramayana is a very great Nadi. That's what the great scholar, poet Bhojaraja also says, that Valmiki is, Ramayana is a Mahanadi. It's impossible to collect Mahanadi in a particular tumbler or a bucket or any other thing. But still, how few of the droplets collected from that Mahanadi would be capable enough of purifying each and every soul or body. So is my work, that is Champu Ramayanam, is what Bhojaraja says. Therefore, I am here to purify myself by collecting few of those droplets from Valmiki's Ramayanam, which is none other than the greatest heritage of our great nation. There is a basic question: how do sagacious or perspicacious people spend their time, or how should they actually spend their time? For which there is an abhanakam or a saying which is very famous: Pratar Dyuta Prasangena Madhyanye Stri Prasangataha Ratrau Chaurya Prasangena Kalo Gacchati Dhimatam. After a presentation of our beloved, most respected chair, Sri Upendra Raoji, which was a great presentation, and my beloved friend Srinidhi Acharya presented how the misinterpretations have been presented. So after a presentation and misrepresentations presentation, I would like to speak about how interpolations and misinterpretations have actually taken place in various other so-called commentaries of Ramayana. They are not actually commentaries on Ramayana, but we believed them wholeheartedly without even going through the original text, and started cursing few of the characters and we actually got picturized those, especially my topic is related to the women characters. Actually, the topic which I suggested to Nagasampige Acharya when he actually advised me to take up a topic and present it, I said women empowerment in Ramayana. But sorry, I would like to change my own topic, says empowered women in Ramayana. So it is not women empowerment in Ramayana, empowered women in Ramayana. After having gone through various so-called commentaries, I thought, what are we empowering women about Ramayana? No, they were the real women who were already empowered and were capable of empowering not only women but also men to a very great extent. That's what I thought. Empowered women in Ramayana should be the topic or the title of my presentation. So therefore, see, Madhyane Stri Prasangataha. What a beautiful topic actually, title given to Ramayana. Ramayana, while talking about Ramayana, the poet says, Stri Prasangataha. Strinam Prasangaha Yasmin Tat Stri Prasangam. So Stri Prasangataha Madhyannaha Evameva Tesham Kalaha Yapyate iti. Evancha Strinam Prasangaha Bahavo Vartante Tatra. That is the beauty of Ramayana. It was not about Rama. Ramayana is not about Rama. Ramayana is actually not at all about Ravana. Ramayana is not also about Hanuman. Then Ramayana, is it about Sugriva and Vali? No. Ramayana is about Sita. Ramayana is about Anasuya. Ramayana is about Kaikeyi. Ramayana is about Kausalya. And Ramayana is about Mandodari. Various such great women who have contributed, and because of them we are even today remembering Ramayana. Hence, Ramayana need to be called as Stri Prasanga. Strinam Prasangaha Yasmin Saha Grantaha Stri Prasangaha Ramayana. Women like Ganga, Satyavati, Kunti, Gandhari, Devaki, Yashoda, Draupadi are the main pillars of Mahabharata, while Sita, Kaikeyi, Manthara, Shurpanakha are the mainstays of Ramayana. Some of them are influential figures due to their character, beauty, courage, and fortitude, while some others have a negative impact on the story of Ramayana due to their stubbornness, greed, hatred, lust, and anger, so on. That is how we have a famous averment or saying, even today buzzing in our ears, Ahalya, Draupadi, Sita, Tara, Mandodari, Tatha, Panchakam, Nasmaret, Nityam, Mahapapa Vinashanam. Natu Stri, Nasmaret Nityam. Ityapi svikartum shakyate, vastutastu na nama, yakopi purushaha va, yakapi stri va iti. Kintu, Panchakam Nasmaret Nityam, Mahapapa Vinashanam ityasti. Tasu, Panchasu, Strishu, out of these 5, 4 of them belong to Ramayana. That itself is enough to prove that Ramayana is the legend of many influential women, not of men. It is because of all of them that Ramayana is known even today as an epic poem, court epic, or Mahakavyam with various rasabhavas in it. Therefore, Ramayana reflects the character traits of various people from many perspectives, and therefore it is indeed a great historical book that has attracted codicers and scholars of different countries and languages even today. That is what we have seen Acharya presenting Ramayana of Combodia. That is why Ramayana itself says, what Valmiki says, let us listen to Valmiki. Let us know the voice of Valmiki. He says, Yavat sthasyanti girayaha saritascha mahitale tavat Ramayana katha lokeshu pracharishyati. The story of Ramayana breathes throughout the world as long as mountains and rivers exist on this earth, he says. Out of these various numerous women characters who have contributed towards the great court epic Ramayana. I have taken one or two due to the short span of time allocated to me. I have just taken 2 or 3 characters from Ramayana. Of course, how can we forget discussing about Sita Mata? She is the main character in Ramayana. Isn't Ramayana the story of Ravana who tries to kidnap Sita and finally ends up kidnapping Sita Akriti, mistaking her for Sita? Sage Valmiki actually, if we go through various commentaries, we come to know that whether it is Tulsi Ramayana or various other Ramayanas and commentaries, Valmiki actually had suggested 3 names, it seems, for Ramayana. One is Sita Charitam, the story of Sita. This title was actually happily accepted by various orthodox traditionalists. And the second name was Ramayanam, the story of Rama. This is the name eulogized by philosophers and scholars later. But the third one was totally discarded, that is Paulastyavadham, as it conveys a tragic sense. So therefore, even today, we can consider Ramayana as Sita Charitam or Ramayana. Both are equally giving the same meaning, or the purport of both of these titles is same. Today, the foundation pillar of Ramayana, written by Valmiki, is said to be a testimony to the word Sita. Sita is the ruby found by King Janaka when he dug the earth with a golden plow, that is called furrow. According to the saying, that's what Madhvacharya also says, Sirata eva jata Sita. The central female character of Ramayana, Goddess Sita, is the incarnation of Goddess Lakshmi and consort of Lord Rama, that is the incarnation of Lord Vishnu. Being found under the ground by King Janaka, she is also said to be Bhumi Devi. She is the character who possesses all the great qualities which make her a great woman. Now, Devi Sita was actually, if we go through each and every verse of Ramayana, we come to know, Devi Sita was physically vigorous character. She as a Kshatriya girl, have you heard about this actually? Tell me. She as a Kshatriya girl was the one who picked up the Pinaka, Shiva Dhanush, when she was a kid, it seems. However, she was more characterized, or she is even today characterized as a lady with a lot of emotion, mental strength, etc. But she was the one who actually picked up the Pinaka when she was a kid, which even Ravana couldn't do after being such a famous character. She stood like a rock with her husband in the hardest time and never turned her back from facing challenges and problems. In fact, as per Ramayana Ayodhya Kanda, 18th chapter, 17 to 54 shlokas, if we see, it was Sita. We have seen many mother-in-laws preaching their daughter-in-laws, but it was Sita who presented all 3 dharmas before her mother-in-law Kausalya, which she had learned from her father during her childhood. Have we tried to interpret or see Sita in this space, in this way? Never. We only say, we only know that crybaby Sita, because we have been made to think only in that way. As Mr. Srinidhi said, we have been dragged to the wrong paths. This is the only way. Come this way. There are no other paths. You will just go and fall in the pit. But at least if one would have tried, it's okay. If I fall in the pit, let us see. Somebody can go, or even others may fall or not. Nobody did that. So that is the reason. So actually Sita is portrayed, if we see the real Sita portrayed in Ayodhya Kanda, that is 18th chapter, as I said, 17 to 54 shlokas, this kind of exemplary phase of Sita is totally unheard of anywhere. Another instance, when Sita was ready to go on exile with her husband, it was Kausalya who said, see, Kausalya talks about Sita, how Sita was such an empowered woman. We say that, okay, Sita also just silently followed her husband. Everybody pities for Sita. Ayo, what happened? Sita, such a very, innocent girl. What else she could do? She just followed her husband. Nothing like this. Sita did everything knowingly. Every step of Sita was taken with lot of dedication, determination, and with lot of courage and energy. But nobody tried to present these facts. So Kausalya says, Asatyaha sarvalokesmin satatam satkritah priyaihi bhartaram nanumanyante vinipatagatam shriyaha striyaha alpa api apadam prapya dushyanti prajahatyapi. She says, dear Sita, what a great girl you are, yeah. I really appreciate you for your boldness. Because generally, see, no other man spoke like this. If anybody would have spoken, probably today's, dear feminists, please listen to this. It was Kausalya who says, dear Sita, this world's behavior is really vulnerable, yeah. When husbands have a lot of money, property, and utilize them to satisfy their wives, they enjoy them. But once these are lost, their wives totally start ignoring them, condemn them, and get ready to find their own way of earning back their happiness from somebody else. Such is this unhealthy world. When? During Treta Yuga. Who spoke? Kausalya. And that too, which lady? Who was the queen of Dasharatha. She says this. Such is the unhealthy world, Sita. But I am really surprised by your simply superb behavior. Go ahead. My support is there to you. Please take care of my son, she says. She never said, Rama, please take care of Sita. She says, Sita, please take care of my son. What a courageous lady. What a great way of appreciation. Can any other daughter-in-law expect such great appreciation from their mother-in-law? Never ever. But Sita got it from her own mother-in-law in Treta Yuga. What else a woman needs than this kind of treatment from her own mother-in-law? One should also go through the reciprocation of Sita. Not just silently she listened to it. What did she speak? How did she reciprocate? Let us see that also. Abhijñāsmi yatha bhartuhu vartitavyam shrutanchame natantri vadyate veena nachakro vartate arthaha napatis sukhamedheta yasyadapi shatatmaja mitam dadati hi pita mitam dadati mata mitam sutaha amitasyata jataram bhartam kana pujayet bhartaram kana pujayet. She says, my dear mother, I know this. I have been taught well by my parents during my childhood itself. I am not doing something very exemplary work. I am a normal child who was taught by my parents that how I need to be with my husband, with my parents, that is father-in-law or mother-in-law or brother-in-law. I have been taught well. Abhijñāsmi yatha bhartuhu vartitavyam shrutanchame. And I have heard a lot. Many people like you, elders who have been following it, who have been preaching me frequently, I have even heard to such people. Natantri vadyate veena nachakro vartate rathaha. Is a string capable of making sound? Is a veena capable of making sound without the strings? Is a chariot capable of moving ahead without the wheel? No. So am. How can I stay without Rama? So it is not just because he takes care of me. He is the strong foundation of my life, without whom I just can't live. I am not here to just enjoy all these pleasures. I got married to Rama to stay with him, not just to enjoy the pleasures and amenities provided to me. Actually, for Sita, to be in exile was not that hard at all. But being kidnapped by Ravana, the king of Lanka, was what she could not have hardly borne. Ravana tried all measures to prevail her in being his consort. Yet Devi Sita did not lose her hope, but patiently waited for her husband. Her courage, dedication, faith, and purity were also some of the reasons for the victory of Rama over Ravana. If at all, Sita would have lost all hopes and would have given up her life, then was there any meaning for Rama's story? There is no meaning of Ramayana existing till today. If Sita would have given up her life, if Sita would have lost her hopes, if Sita wouldn't have entertained Hanuman, if Sita wouldn't have spared Ravana, actually she was capable of killing Ravana. She would have cursed him and made him into bits and pieces. That was the ability and capability of Sita. But she didn't do that. She said, Ravana, my husband will take care of you, man. I'll wait patiently. I don't mind. He'll come. Because you have snatched me from him, right? He is the one who is going to come back and take care of you. That was the trust, faith, belief, courage, boldness, valor of Sata Kshatrani lady. The calm personality was how Sita Devi was actually. All these things were housed in her, but she was such a calm and cool lady. She taught the whole world to face the hardship while not losing faith. That's what at times when our Guruji used to say in various pravachanas, Vyasatirtha Swamiji used to say, see, many of our, same thing happened to many of our women in Kashmir. Some of them were raped, some of them were killed, and in front of their husband they were dragged to. Then what did our Pandits do? They said, she's been dragged by somebody else. She's been raped. She's been kidnapped. How can I accept? It's impossible. So they just came back. They left their consort there itself. So Swamiji, many a time I've heard him saying, if at all these men would have been even more courageous enough to accept their wives, who are such an innocent ones, what did they do? What is their mistake? Then probably such a devastating state we wouldn't have reached. So therefore, whereas you see in Treta Yuga, Ravana etc. were similar to today's terrorists. So, but what did Sita do? She didn't lose her hope. She never, lost her hopes in Rama. She who is personified how a human being should be and how they should live their life. We rarely find any woman like Devi Sita in the real world and in epics. She indeed, not even in epics, forget about real world, not even in epics, she indeed was a great woman. That is how, even when Rama says, forget about mother-in-law, Vishwamitra also says, actually, Vasishtha says to Dasharatha, when Kaikeyi was about to send Sita, when Sita said, okay, please give me also the pair of clothes, so let me also wear the normal clothes and go with Rama, then Vasishtha said, just a minute, stay back. Hey Kaikeyi, who were supposed to be sent to forest? Rama, right? Let him go. I don't mind. She is a Kshatrani girl. If not Rama, Rama's wife will be the queen of this nation. That's all. We are going to coronate her. That's what the courage of Vasishtha was. He says in Ramayana. So let she be coronated. Do whatever you want. We are least bothered. That's what an Acharya of such great clan or family says. But then Sita, very politely refuses. No. Wherever my husband is, Nayodhya, tam vinayodhya, sayodhya yatra raghavaha, just like how Bharata says. Even Sita also actually said that long back. Says that wherever Rama is, that is Ayodhya. What is this? This is a forest because none of the people are here. In fact, Dasharatha also says this. Dasharatha says, okay, Kaikeyi, what do you want? Rama, you need to send Rama to forest on exile and you want Bharata to be coronated? Fine. I accept. Okay, let me also go back. Let me also go behind Rama. Sita is going, Lakshmana is going. Let me also go. Actually, I need to talk about even Kaikeyi character. Just because this is an instance, I would like to say, See, then Kaikeyi says, no, what do you think, Dasharatha? Am I a foolish lady? How do I sound to you? Because what shall I do with this? I asked you to coronate my son as the king of this nation, not of a forest, of this nation, of this Ayodhya. Ayodhya means you need to stay back. I am going to stay back. All the people should stay back. Only Rama alone should be going there. If he wants, he can take Lakshmana or the 3-4 members, whomever he wants, let him take. But nobody else is going, not even you. Mind it. Such was a bold lady, Kaikeyi. But actually, by heart, even she was such a wonderful lady. Just for an instance, I'll just end up my presentation or this speech within another 5 minutes. I request the chair to provide me with 5 more minutes. Kaikeyi, when it was Manthara actually who gave the news to Kaikeyi about coronation of Rama, which is going to take place very shortly, as decided by Dasharatha before all the subjects. When Manthara came and said, very soon Rama is going to be coronated as the king of this nation. Do you know this, Kaikeyi? Kaikeyi says, Ativa sasu samhrishta. In Ayodhya Kanda, 7th chapter, 32nd shloka, Valmiki says, Ativa sasu samhrishta. She was so happy. Such a blissful lady she was. She says, I am so happy, Manthara. What would you like to have? You tell me, I'll give you. I'll grant whatever you want. What a great, pleasant news you have brought to me. I'm so happy, she says. Actually, by heart, Kaikeyi was a wonderful lady. But just because we want to put down Ramayana, we say Kaikeyi is an evil lady, and Sita is an innocent girl, and Rama is a foolish son. Dasharatha is an again person who is always behind his wife. So this is the way we try to portray these characters rather than realizing what is the fact. What Valmiki says, nobody is ready to listen. Kaikeyi says, Are, what are you speaking? When Manthara reciprocates saying, Kaikeyi, what are you saying? It is Rama is going to be coronated, not Bharata. Then Kaikeyi says, Rameva Bharateva jam Vishesham nopalakshaye. Rameva Bharatevaham Vishesham nopalakshaye. What's the difference between Rama and Bharata? Rama is my son, eldest son. So is Bharata my son, even Lakshmana, Shatrujna. What is the difference? I really don't understand. Why are you saying this? Rameva Bharatevaham Vishesham nopalakshaye. There's no difference for me. Both are equal. Tasmat Tadjaya Raja Ramam Raje Abhishekshati. Rajye Abhishekshati. Of course, and Rama is the eldest son as per our customs and as per the lineage. Whoever is in Surya Vamsha, whoever is the eldest son of the king, he will be coronated. What is wrong in this? And of course, see, actually, this is one phase of Kaikeyi. The other phase of Kaikeyi is she has no knowledge about administration at all. Immediately she says, so what? Let Rama be coronated as the king of this nation. Bharataschapi Ramasya dhruvam varsha shatat param pitrpaitamaham rajyam prapnuyat purusharshabha. After some 150 years, once the term of Rama is over, Bharata will be ruling this country. So what? Because there are 4 children. So one after the other will rule. That's it. Why are you crying? I don't understand. Why are you foul playing here? Is what Kaikeyi asked Manthara. Such an innocent lady she was when it comes to administration. But it was Manthara who provoked with all illful thoughts, saying that, Are foolish lady, after Rama, Bharata is not going to rule. It is the eldest son who will be ruling forever until he is going to coronate his son as the next predecessor. Your son is never going to get any chance. But even then, he said, okay, no problem. So what? Bharata will also sit aside. He will also be besides Rama. And he also shall take care of many other countries. And he will be helping Rama. What is wrong in this? Then she tries to bring all those illful thoughts. So this shows Kaikeyi was never a bad or illful lady at all. It was Manthara who provoked her and made her to think otherwise and made her to speak something else which was not there in her heart at all. And that too how Manthara says. If we see Pratima Natakam, Abhisheka Natakam, etc. of Bhasa, we will get even more clear picture. Actually, when Kaikeyi had helped Dasharatha in the war field by lifting up the wheel, then Dasharatha was so happy. He says, ask for any 2 boons. Yeah. So both these wheels were lifted up by you. You can ask any 2 boons. Whatever you want, I am ready to give. Then Kaikeyi is, Hare, what else I want? The whole world is mine. Because the one who is ruling the world is mine. That is you. Then what else I need? You are with me, Dasharatha. I don't need anything else. No. Whenever you want, you can ask. You are given that privilege. He says, okay, let me see. That's it. Actually, when Dasharatha did not have any child, there was no progeny. At that time, actually, from KK Raja, he got this invitation. Then he said, okay, I'll marry your Kaikeyi. Then, how to believe you? Next, the son of Kaikeyi is not going to be coronated. If at all Kausalya, somebody else also might get progeny. And if their son is going to be coronated, then how to believe? I can't do this. I want Kaikeyi's son to be coronated. Okay, whatever. If she asks, if she wishes the same, I am ready to give, he says. So even then he says, during marriage, actually Dasharatha gave 2 more boons to Kaikeyi. You can ask for it. Manthara says, see, 2 boons were given to you. Do you remember? Yeah, during my marriage. Foolish lady, don't ask that. Vivaha kale ratisam prayoge pranatyage sarvadhanapahare panchanratanyahur apatakani. All the boons which are given during marriage, or these are the 5 incidents, during those time, whatever is offered, that you can say, you can just blush it off. Marriage time, no. Just to see to it that the marriage will happen, I told it's okay. Forget it. One may say. There is even provision in Shastra saying that whatever is promised during marriage, that need not be kept. And you are not going to get that great sin. You need not keep it. So then she says, oh, those 2 boons which were, which he had promised me during marriage, don't ask for that. Then what? See, even then, she was so foolish lady. Such an innocent one. Then, no. The 2 boons which were given to you during the war field, ask for that. Definitely he has to abide by that. He can't say no. So this is how the ill-fated and such a lady with all wrong feelings in her heart I offer my sincere salutations to the holy feet of His Holiness Sri Sri Swamiji, because of whose blessings, as I said, I would like to reiterate that, because of whose blessings I am able to speak today before you. So, this is the actual picture of Kaikeyi. Kaikeyi was never such a illful lady, who was such a pleasant-minded lady, who had all great love and affection for Rama, Sita, or let it be Lakshmana or Bharata, who saw everybody equally and with utmost affection. Again, coming to one of these characters like Sita, in Mahabharata Tatparya Nirnaya, Madhvacharya interprets Sita Apaharana. See, this is the way how a commentary need to be. Madhvacharya interprets Sita Apaharana in a unique but legible way based on Brahma Vaivarta Purana and Kurma Purana. Many of commentators, they keep commenting, but without justifying their commentary. But Madhvacharya says, see, this is what, this is how we need to understand Sita Apaharana. Based on Brahma Vaivarta Purana and Kurma Purana, Acharya Madhva says, what is there in Kurma Purana? Athava Satyat Bhagavan Havyavahanaha Maheshwaraha Avirasit Sudiptatma Tejasa Nirdahanniva. Based on this, Madhvacharya says, Devya Samipa Matha Ravana Asasada Sadrishyatam Agamada Pyavishakya Shaktihe Srishtvatmana Pratikritim Prayayucha Shigram Kailasa Marchitapada Nyavasachiva Bhyam. In 5th chapter, 37th shloka, Ravana then approached Sita Devi. Sita Devi, who is an incarnation of Lakshmi Devi, is capable of killing Ravana, but she creates a replica of her own and leaves the scene. Sita Devi, who disappears, is worshipped by Shiva and Parvati Devi at Kailasa. So therefore, what Ravana actually captured was Sita Akriti, not Sita at all. So then how can we, once again, between the, within quotes, how can we always call Sita crybaby, who was always such a innocent lady, who never knew what to do? All these things. Therefore, Sita is missing and goes through his actions. When Ravana is killed and Sita does Agni Pariksha, the original Sita comes back from the fire to be with Rama. Episode of Rama being sad and searching of Sita, etc., blah blah, is all done for Loka Shikshana. This is just one example of Srimad Madhvacharya's special interpretations with lot of references. There are numerous such nuances given by Srimad Madhvacharya. Tulsidas also describes this episode in a similar way in Ramacharita Manasa. Pillai Lokacharya in Sri Vachanabhushanam says that the life of the imprisoned woman, that is Sita, is enough to teach the whole spirituality to mankind. Sita's imprisonment by the 10-headed Ravana in the Lanka is analogous to the captivity of Jivatma, the soul of man, by the 10 senses, Indriyas, Pancha Karmendriya and Pancha Jnanendriya, supported by the ego in the body. Therefore, there are such great women characters who are actually empowered to empower the men or women of this world, but we have to develop such great sight to look at them and understand how they were, for which we need to nurture our thoughts. We need to first develop that analytical ability in us, which would definitely lead us towards understanding Ramayana in the right way. Thank you very much. I offer my obeisance to the holy feet of Swamiji once again, and to Nagasampige Acharya and to the chair Sri Upendra ji for providing me such opportunity. Dhanyavadaha. Shri Krishnarpanamas. Kripaya. Sitara. Satyam. वस्तुतस्तु तत्र स्वयंवररूपेण स्वीकृतवान् खलु, किन्तु दशरथस्य अनुमतिं प्राप्यैव रामः तत्र सीतां परिणीतवान् इति रामायणे एव वर्तते, वाल्मीकिरामायणे आगतवान् एव, अनुमतिं प्राप्य एव अनन्तरं कौसल्यार्थं तदपि किञ्चित् तत्र गवेषणीयं भवेत् इति सत्यं। वाल्मीकिरामायणे नास्ति तथा, कौसल्या आगतवती इति नापि महाभारततात्पर्यनिर्णये तथा तद्विषये तात्पर्यनिर्णयेपि नास्ति तथा, नास्ति नास्ति। ओ तात्पर्यनिर्णये ಧನ್ಯವಾದ.
अथवा संकटा हि आहिताग्नीनां विद्यस्ति अतः आहिताग्नित्वात् तस्य भार्या तत्र स्थित्वा अग्न्युपासनं कृतवती इति स्यात्. Our sincere pranams to Pujya Swamiji, and we thank Dr. K.S.S. Suman for giving that statement, empowered women in Ramayana. And now I invite Dr. G.K. ಸತ್ಯಮೂರ್ತಿ. ಎಷ್ಟಂದ್ರೂ ನಾವು ಕನ್ನಡಿಗರು, ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹೊತ್ತಾದರೂ ಮಾತುಕತೆ ಆಗಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ಬೇಜಾರಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಈಗ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕಾಲ ಸತ್ಯಮೂರ್ತಿಯವರು ಇವರು ನಿರ್ವಾಹಕರಾಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ KSS PU ಕಾಲೇಜ್ ಹುಬ್ಬಳ್ಳಿಯಲ್ಲಿ. ಅವರು ರಾಮಾಯಣದಲ್ಲಿ ರಾಕ್ಷಸ ಸ್ತ್ರೀಯರು ಎಂಬ ವಿಷಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾರೆ.
आचार्यपवनोऽस्माकम् आचार्याणि च भारती देवो नारायणश्रीशः देवी मङ्गलदेवता प्रथमो हनुमान् नाम द्वितीयो भीम एव च पूर्णप्रज्ञस्तृतीयस्तु भगवत्कार्यसाधकः तपस्वाध्यायशुश्रूषा कृष्णपूजारतं मुनिं विश्वेशमिष्टदं वन्दे परिव्राट् चक्रवर्तिनं. ಶ್ರೀಗುರುಭ್ಯೋ ನಮಃ. ವೇದಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಉಪಸ್ಥಿತರಿರುವ ನಮ್ಮ ಗುರುಗಳಾದಂಥ ಪರಮಪೂಜ್ಯ ಶ್ರೀಪಾದಂಗಳವರ ಚರಣಾರವಿಂದಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಭಕ್ತಿಪೂರ್ವಕವಾಗಿ ನಮಸ್ಕರಿಸಿ, ಹಾಗೆ ಅನೇಕ ನನ್ನ ಪಾಠದ ಗುರುಗಳು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಉಪಸ್ಥಿತರಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅವರಿಗೂ ಭಕ್ತಿಪೂರ್ವಕವಾಗಿ ನಮಸ್ಕರಿಸಿ, ಎಲ್ಲ ವಿದ್ವಾಂಸರಿಗೆ ನಮಸ್ಕರಿಸಿ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಅಭಿನಂದನೆಗಳನ್ನು ಹೇಳುತ್ತಾ, ರಾಮಾಯಣದಲ್ಲಿ ರಾಕ್ಷಸ ಸ್ತ್ರೀಯರು ಅನ್ನುವಂಥ ವಿಷಯದಲ್ಲಿ, ಅಂದರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ರಾಕ್ಷಸ ಸ್ತ್ರೀ ಬರೀ ರಾಮಾಯಣದಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ತ್ರೀಯರು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ ಬಹಳ ಜನರನ್ನು ತಗೊಳ್ಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಇದು ಲಿಮಿಟೆಡ್ ವಿಷಯ, ಅಂದರೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಮಾತ್ರ ತಗೊಳ್ಬಹುದು. ರಾಮಾಯಣದಲ್ಲಿ ರಾಕ್ಷಸ ಸ್ತ್ರೀಯರು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದಾಗ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ರಾಮಾಯಣದಲ್ಲಿ ಆರಂಭದಲ್ಲೇ ಬರುವಂತಹದ್ದು ಅಂದರೆ, ಒಂದು ನಮಗೆ ರಾಮನ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿತ್ವವನ್ನು ಹೇಳುವಾಗ ರಾವಣನ ಪರಾಕ್ರಮವನ್ನು ಮೊದಲು ಹೇಳುತ್ತಾರೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ರಾವಣ ಇಂಥವನು ಅಂಥವನು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ರಾಮ ಅವನನ್ನು ಕೊಂದಿದ್ದಾನೆ ಅಂದರೆ ರಾಮನ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿತ್ವ ಎಂಥದ್ದು ಅಂತ, ಅವನ ಅವಗುಣಗಳು ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಇವನ ಗುಣಗಳು ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನುವ. ಆ ರಾವಣನಿಂದ ಹಿಡ್ಕೊಂಡಾಗ ಮೊದಲಿಗೆ ಬರತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ರಾವಣನ ತಾಯಿ ಕೈಕಸಿ ಅಂತ. ಆ ಕೈಕಸಿ ಏನಿದ್ದಾಳೆ ಅವಳು ನಿಜವಾಗಿಯೂ ಕೂಡ ಅವಳು ರಾಕ್ಷಸ ಸ್ತ್ರೀ. ಅವಳು ರಾಕ್ಷಸ ಸ್ತ್ರೀ ಆಗಿರುವಂಥವಳು ವಿಶ್ರವಸ್ಸನ್ನುವಂಥ ಮುನಿಯನ್ನು ಮದುವೆ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತಾಳೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ಋಷಿಗೆ ರಾಕ್ಷಸ ಸ್ತ್ರೀಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹುಟ್ಟಿದಂತಹ ಒಬ್ಬ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಇವನು ರಾವಣ. ಮತ್ತು ಕುಂಭಕರ್ಣ, ಶೂರ್ಪಣಖ ಮತ್ತು ವಿಭೀಷಣ, ಈ 4 ಜನರು ಕೂಡ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ನಮಗೆ ಆರಂಭದಲ್ಲೇ ಬರತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ಅಂದರೆ ಶೂರ್ಪಣಖೆಯ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ವಿಷಯ. ಶೂರ್ಪಣಖೆ ಅವಳ ಪ್ರಸಂಗ ನಮಗೆ ಸಿಗುವಂಥದ್ದು ಅಂದರೆ, ರಾಮ ಅಂದರೆ ಯಾರನ್ನ ವಿಶ್ವಾಮಿತ್ರರು ರಾಮನನ್ನು ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮಣನನ್ನು ಯಜ್ಞದ ರಕ್ಷಣೆಗೆ ಅಂತ ಕರೆದುಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗುವಾಗ ಆ ಪ್ರಸಂಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಅವಳ ಕಥೆ, ಅವಳ ವೃತ್ತಾಂತ ಎನ್ನುವಂತಹದ್ದು ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಅವಳ ವೃತ್ತಾಂತದಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಶೂರ್ಪಣಖೆ ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಪರಿಚಯ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಪರಿಚಯ ಇದೆ ಶೂರ್ಪಣಖೆ ಬಗ್ಗೆ. ಆ ಶೂರ್ಪಣಖೆ ಅವಳ ವಿಶೇಷ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ, ಅವಳಿಗೆ ಒಬ್ಬ ಗಂಡ ಇದ್ದ, ವಿದ್ಯುಜ್ಜಿಹ್ವ ಅಂತ ಹೆಸರವನದ್ದು. ಆ ವಿದ್ಯುಜ್ಜಿಹ್ವ ಏನಿದ್ದಾನೆ ಅವನು ಕಾಲಕೇಯ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಕೆ ಸೇರಿದವನು. ಅವನನ್ನು ತಂದು ಇವಳಿಗೆ ಮದುವೆ ಮಾಡಿರುತ್ತಾನೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ರಾವಣ ತನ್ನ ತಮ್ಮಂದರಿಗೆ ಅವಳಿಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಮದುವೆ ಮಾಡಿದವನೇ ಅವನು. ಈ ತಮ್ಮನಿಗೆ ಕುಂಭಕರ್ಣನಿಗೆ ಮತ್ತು ವಿಭೀಷಣನಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಹೆಣ್ಣು ಸಿಕ್ಕಿರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಅವರನ್ನು ಅಪಹರಣ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದು ಮದುವೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ ಅವರಿಗೆಲ್ಲ. ಹಾಗೆ ಶೂರ್ಪಣಖೆಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಅವಳಿಗೆ ಮದುವೆ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಟ್ಟ. ಮದುವೆ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಟ್ಟಾಗ ಈ ಪೆದ್ದ ಎಂಥ ರಾವಣ ಅಂದರೆ ಅವನು ಬೇರೆ ಯಾರದೋ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಯುದ್ಧ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಯುದ್ಧಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂತ ಕರೆದುಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಾನೆ. ಆಗ ಇವನಿಗೆ ಸಹಾಯಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂತ ವಿದ್ಯುಜ್ಜಿಹ್ವನು ನಿಂತುಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತಾನೆ, ಅಂದರೆ ಶೂರ್ಪಣಖೆಯ ಗಂಡ. ಅವನು ಕಣ್ಣು ಮುಚ್ಚಿಕೊಂಡು ಕತ್ತಿಯನ್ನು ಬೀಸುವಾಗ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲದೆ ತಂಗಿ ಗಂಡನ ತಲೆಯನ್ನೇ ಎಗರಿಸಿಬಿಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಅವನ ತಲೆಯನ್ನೇ ಎಗರಿಸಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ತನಕ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ ಅವನಿಗೆ ಅವಳನ್ನು ವಿಧವೆ ಮಾಡಿಟ್ಟ. ವಿಧವೆ ಮಾಡಿದ ನಂತರ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅವಳಿಗೆ ಇವನು ತಪಸ್ಸಿಗೆ ಅಂತ ಕೂತಾಗ ಕರ ಮತ್ತು ಶೂರ್ಪಣಕ್ಕೆ ಇಬ್ಬರೂ ಕೂಡ ಅವನ ಹತ್ತಿರದಲ್ಲಿದ್ದು ಸೇವೆ ಮಾಡುತ್ತಾರೆ. ಆ ಸೇವೆಗೆ ಮೆಚ್ಚಿ ಆ ರಾವಣ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ, ನಿನಗೆ ನಿನ್ನ ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ ವಿಧವೆಯ ಪ್ರಸಂಗವನ್ನು ತಂದವನು ನಾನು, ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನಿನ್ನ ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ ನಿನಗೆ ಯಾರನ್ನಾದರೂ ನೋಡಿ ಮದುವೆ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಅನ್ನಿಸಿದರೆ ನೀನು ಹೇಳು, ಯಾರನ್ನ ಬೇಕಾದರೂ ಮದುವೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೋದು, ನಾನು ನಿನಗೆ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ತೇನೆ, ನಿಂತು ಮಾಡಿಸ್ತೇನೆ ಅಂತ ಮಾತು ಕೊಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಅವನು ತಪಸ್ಸು ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಅವನು ಒಳ್ಳೆಯ ವರವನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಂತೆ ಕೊಡ್ತಾನೆ ಅವಳಿಗೆ. ಈ ರೀತಿ ವರವನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಅವಳನ್ನು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ, ಅಂದರೆ ಅವಳಿಗೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಈ ಕರನ ಕಡೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು 14,000 ಜನ ಸೈನ್ಯ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ಸೈನ್ಯವನ್ನೂ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಕಳಿಸಿಕೊಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಕಳಿಸಿಕೊಟ್ಟು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅವಳ ಜೊತೆಗಿದ್ದು ಯಾರನ್ನು ಮೆಚ್ಚುತ್ತಾಳೋ, ಯಾರನ್ನು ಕಾಮಿಸ್ತಾಳೋ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ವಿವಾಹ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ. ಆಗ ರಾಮ ಬರುವಾಗ ರಾಮನನ್ನು ನೋಡಿ ರಾಮನನ್ನು ಕಾಮಿಸ್ತಾಳವಳು. ರಾಮನನ್ನು ಕಾಮಿಸಿದಾಗ ಅಲ್ಲೊಂದು ಪ್ರಸಂಗ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ನಿಮಗೆಲ್ಲ ಗೊತ್ತಿರುವ ಪ್ರಸಂಗ. ಅದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾನು ಹೆಚ್ಚು ವಿವರಣೆ ಕೊಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಅಂದರೆ ರಾಮ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮಣನ ಬಳಿಗೆ ಹೋಗುವಂಥ, ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮಣ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ ರಾಮನ ಬಳಿಗೆ ಹೋಗುವಂಥ, ಕಡೆಗೆ ಸೀತೆಯ ಮೇಲೆ ಹಲ್ಲೆ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂತ ಹೋದಾಗ ಶೂರ್ಪಣಕ್ಕೆ, ಆಗ ರಾಮ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ ಅವಳ ಮೂಗು ಮತ್ತು ಕಿವಿಗಳನ್ನು ಕತ್ತರಿಸಿ ಹಾಕು ಅಂತ. ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಕತ್ತರಿಸಿ ಮಾಡಿ ನಂತರದಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಅವಳು ಹೋಗ್ತಾಳೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ಇಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರಸಂಗ ನಡೆಯುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಬಹಳ ಜನರ ಒಂದು ಆಕ್ಷೇಪ ಏನು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ರಾಮ ಈ ರೀತಿ ಮಾಡಬಹುದಿತ್ತ ಅಂತ, ಒಬ್ಬ ಸ್ತ್ರೀ ಅಂತ ನೋಡ್ಬೋದಿತ್ತಲ್ವ. ಅಂದರೆ ಏನಾದರೂ ಮದುವೆ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಳ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಕಾಮಿಸಿ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾಳೆ ಅಂದರೆ, ಕಾಮಿಸಿ ಬಂದಂಥ ಹೆಣ್ಣನ್ನು ಒಂದು ಬೇಡ ಅಂತ ಅವಳಿಗೆ ಬುದ್ಧಿವಾದವನ್ನು ಹೇಳಿ ಕಳಿಸಬಹುದಿತ್ತು, ಅಥವಾ ಅವಳು ಏನು ಮಾಡಿದರೂ ಕೂಡ ಅವಳನ್ನು ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದಿತ್ತು. ಆದರೆ ಅವಳನ್ನು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ವಿಕರಣ, ಅಂದರೆ ಅವಳನ್ನು ವಿಕಾರವನ್ನು ಮಾಡುವಂಥ ಪ್ರಸಂಗ ಏನಿತ್ತು ರಾಮನಿಗೆ ಅಂತ. ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ ರಾಮ ಒಂದಷ್ಟು ಹೆಣ್ಣಿನ ಮೇಲೆ ದ್ವೇಷ ಇಟ್ಟುಕೊಂಡವನು ಅನ್ನುವ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲವರು ಚಿತ್ರಿಸುವಂಥ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನಗಳನ್ನು ಆಧುನಿಕರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಅನೇಕ ಬಾರಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಗುರುಗಳು ಕೂಡ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಅನೇಕ ಉತ್ತರಗಳನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಜೊತೆಗೆ ರಾಮ ಆ ಪ್ರಸಂಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಿರುವಂಥದ್ದೇನು ಅಂದರೆ, ಅವಳು ಎಲ್ಲಿ ತನಕ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಮೊದಲೇ ವಿಕಾರವಾಗಿದ್ಲು ಅವಳು. ಯಾಕೆಂದರೆ ಒಬ್ಬ ಕವಿ ಒಂದು ವರ್ಣನೆ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಅವಳನ್ನು ಈ ದೃಷ್ಟಾಂತವಾಗಿ ತಗೊಳ್ತಾನೆ ಒಬ್ಬ ಕವಿ. ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಅಂದರೆ, ಒಂದು ಕೆಟ್ಟದಾಗಿರುವಂಥ ಒಬ್ಬ ಹೆಣ್ಣು ಅಂದರೆ ಹೇಗಿರಬಹುದು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಸಂಗ, ಅಂದರೆ ಚಾಟೋಕ್ತಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಒಂದು ಕವಿ ಒಬ್ಬ ಹೇಳಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ ಅಂದರೆ, ಹೆಂಡತಿ ಒಬ್ಬರು ಉಪನ್ಯಾಸಕರಿದ್ದರಂತೆ, ಪುರಾಣಿಕರು, ಭಾರಿ ಸುಂದರವಾಗಿ ಪುರಾಣವನ್ನು ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಂತೆ. ಒಂದು ಸರ್ತಿ ಏನಾಯಿತು, ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀದೇವಿಯ ವರ್ಣನೆ ಬಂತಂತೆ. ಆವತ್ತಿನ ಉಪನ್ಯಾಸದಲ್ಲಿ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮಿಯನ್ನು ಅದ್ಭುತವಾಗಿ ವರ್ಣನೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಂತೆ. ಆ ಅದ್ಭುತವಾದ ವರ್ಣನೆಯನ್ನು ಕೇಳಿದಂತಹ ಆ ಪುರಾಣಿಕನ ಹೆಂಡತಿ ಇದ್ದಂತೆ, ಪುರಾಣಕ್ಕೆ ಕೂತಿದ್ದಂಥವಳು, ಕೂತವಳಿಗೆ ಅನ್ನಿಸ್ತು, ಎಲ್ಲ ನನ್ನ ಗಂಡ ಇಷ್ಟು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಆ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮಿಯನ್ನು ಹೊಗಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ, ಒಂದು ಸರ್ತಿ ನನ್ನ ಬಗ್ಗೆನೂ ಹೇಳು ಅಂದರೆ ನನ್ನನ್ನು ಎಷ್ಟು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಹೊಗಳ್ಬೋದು, ಒಂದು ಸರ್ತಿ ಕೇಳಬೇಕು. ಮೊದಲೇ ಕೆಟ್ಟು ಕುರೂಪಿ ಅಂತ ಇದ್ದಂಥವಳು ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮಿಯನ್ನು ಹೋಲಿಸಿಕೊಂಡು ನನ್ನನ್ನು ಹೊಗಳ್ಳಿ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿಕೊಂಡ್ಲಲ್ಲ. ಆಗ ಆ ಪುರಾಣಿಕ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನಂತೆ, ಇವಳು ಹೇಗಿದ್ದಾಳೆ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ಹೇಳುವಾಗ ಅದರ ವಿವರಣೆ ನಾನು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಕೊಡಲ್ಲ, ನಿಮಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಬಹುದು ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಳ್ತೇನೆ. ಅವನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ, ನೀನು ಹೇಗಿದ್ದೀಯಾ ಅಂತ ಬರೀ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತ್ರ ವರ್ಣನೆ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಡ್ತಾನಂತವನು. ಯಾಕೆ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಹೇಳೋಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಲ್ಲ ಅವನು. ಯಾಕೆ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ ಅವಳಿಗೆ ಊಟಕ್ಕೆ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಪುರಾಣಿಕನಿಗೆ ಭಾಳ ಕಷ್ಟ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದರಿಂದ ಅಷ್ಟನ್ನೇ ಹೇಳಿ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಆದನಂತೆ. ಏನು ಹೇಳಿದ ಅಂದರೆ, ತಿಂತ್ರಿಣೀದಲ ವಿಶಾಲ ಲೋಚನೆ ದೇವದುಂದು ಬಿಸಮಾನ ಮಧ್ಯಮೆ ಅರ್ಕಶುಷ್ಕ ಫಲವದ್ಗನಸ್ತನಿ ರಾಮವೈರಿ ಭಗಿನೀವ ರಾಜಸೆ. ರಾಮವೈರಿ ಭಗಿನೀವ ರಾಜಸೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಒಂದು ಕೆಟ್ಟ ಕುರೂಪಿಯಾದ ಹೆಣ್ಣು ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕೆ ದೃಷ್ಟಾಂತ ಕೊಡೋದು ಅಂದರೆ ಯಾರನ್ನು ಕೊಡಬಹುದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳುವಾಗ ರಾಮವೈರಿ ಭಗಿನೀವ ರಾಜಸೆ ಅಂತ ಒಬ್ಬ ಕವಿಯೂ ಕೂಡ ದೃಷ್ಟಾಂತ ಕೊಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ಆ ಕವಿಯು ಆ ದೃಷ್ಟಾಂತವನ್ನು ಕೊಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಆದರೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಕುರೂಪಿ ಆಗಿದ್ಲು ಅಂತ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಅಂಥವಳು ಬಂದು ರಾಮನನ್ನು, ರಾಮ ಅಂದರೆ ಎಂಥ ಸುಂದರ ಏನು ಅಂತ ವಿಚಾರ ಮಾಡಿ ಅವನ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅಂಥವನನ್ನು ಬಂದು ಮದುವೆ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಳ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂದದ್ದೇ ಒಂದು ತಪ್ಪು. ಅದನ್ನು ವಾಲ್ಮೀಕಿಗಳು ಹೇಳುವಾಗ ಒಂದು ಮಾತಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಬಹಳ ಸುಂದರವಾಗಿ, ಈ ಸೂರ್ಯನನ್ನು ಕತ್ತಲೆ ಬಂದು ವಿವಾಹ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಳ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಅಸಂಗತ ಅಂತ ಅನಿಸುತ್ತೋ ಅಷ್ಟು ಅಸಂಗತವಾಗಿರುವಂಥ ವಿಚಾರ ಅದು. ಸೂರ್ಯನನ್ನು ಕತ್ತಲು ವಿವಾಹ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಳ್ಳಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋದಂತೆ ಶೂರ್ಪಣಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ಲು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳುತ್ತಾರೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಇದು ಶೂರ್ಪಣಕೆಯ ಸ್ವರೂಪ ಮತ್ತು ಅವಳ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿತ್ವ ಎಂತಹದ್ದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ, ಅವಳು ಈ ರಾವಣನ ಬಳಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಅವಳು ಮೂಗು ಕಿವಿ ಕತ್ತರಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಆದ ನಂತರ ರಾವಣನ ಬಳಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾಳಲ್ಲ, ರಾವಣನ ಬಳಿಗೆ ಹೋದಾಗ ರಾಮನ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕಂಪ್ಲೇಂಟ್ ಹೇಳಬೇಕು ಅವಳು. ಯಾಕೆಂದರೆ ರಾಮನನ್ನು ಮೂಗು ಕತ್ತರಿಸಿದ ಕಿವಿ ಕತ್ತರಿಸಿದ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮಣನಿಗೆ ಹೇಳಿ, ಆದರೆ ಹಾಗೆ ಹೇಳಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅವಳು. ಅವಳು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೇನು ಗೊತ್ತಾ, ರಾಮನ ಹೆಂಡತಿ ಇದ್ದಾಳೆ ಸೀತೆ, ಎಷ್ಟು ಸುಂದರವಾಗಿದ್ದಾಳೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾ, ಅದ್ಭುತವಾಗಿದ್ದಾಳೆ ಅಂತ ಸೀತೆಯ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅವನಿಗೆ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಹುಟ್ಟುವಂತೆ ಸೀತೆಯ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚಾಗಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾಳೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ರಾಮ ಇಂಥದ್ದು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾನೆ ಅಂದರೆ ರಾಮನ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಸೇಡು ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕಿಂತಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಸೀತೆಯನ್ನು ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಏನಾದರೂ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಇಷ್ಟು ಅವಳ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿತ್ವದಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ವಿಷ ಎನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ತುಂಬಿತ್ತು ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ಅವಳ ಪೂರ್ಣವಾದಂಥ ಚಿತ್ರಣದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಣಿಸುತ್ತೆ. ಇದೆಲ್ಲವೂ ಕೂಡ ಏನು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ ಇದು ಶೂರ್ಪಣಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುವಂಥ ವೃತ್ತಾಂತಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುವಂಥದ್ದು. ನಂತರ ಅಲ್ಲಿಯೇ ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚಿತವಾಗಿಯೇ ತಾಟಕಾ ಪ್ರಸಂಗವೂ ಕೂಡ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ತಾಟಕೆ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥವಳು ಅವಳು ಸುಂದ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥ ಒಬ್ಬ ಅಸುರನ ಹೆಂಡತಿ, ಅವಳು ಸುಂದ ಅಂತ. ಆ ಸುಂದ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥ ಅಸುರ ಸತ್ತ ನಂತರ ಅಗಸ್ತ್ಯ ಮಹರ್ಷಿಗಳು ಇವಳಿಗೆ ಶಾಪ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಈ ರಾಕ್ಷಸಿ ಆಗುವಂಥ ಶಾಪ ಕೊಟ್ಟಾಗ ಇವಳಿಗೆ ಹುಟ್ಟಿದವನು ಮಾರೀಚ ಮತ್ತು ಇವಳು ಇಬ್ಬರೂ ಸೇರಿಕೊಂಡು ಕಾಡಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದಂಥ ಋಷಿಮುನಿಗಳೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೂಡ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಆ ಋಷಿಗಳನ್ನೆಲ್ಲರನ್ನೂ ಕೂಡ ಹೇಗೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಅವಳ ದೇಹ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ಎಷ್ಟು ದೊಡ್ಡದಾಗಿತ್ತು ಅಂತ ವರ್ಣನೆ ಮಾಡುತ್ತಾರೆ. ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯ ಅವಳ ದೇಹ ಹೇಗಿತ್ತು ಅಂದರೆ ಅವಳು ಸತ್ತು ಬಿದ್ದಾಗ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತ್ರ ಅಲ್ಲ, ನಿಮಗೆ ಅವಳೇ ಮುಂದೆ ಕೃಷ್ಣಾವತಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಪೂತನೆಯಾಗಿ ಬರ್ತಾಳೆ. ಅವಳನ್ನು ಒಮ್ಮೆ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಕೊಂದಾಗ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ರಾಮ ಕೊಂದಾಗ ಅವಳ ದೇಹ ಹೇಗಿತ್ತು ಅಂದರೆ ಅವಳು ಸತ್ತಾಗ ಕೆಳಗೆ ಬಿದ್ದರೆ ಅವಳ ಪಾದ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಲ್ಲಿದ್ದರೆ ಅವಳ ತಲೆ ಮೈಸೂರಲ್ಲಿತ್ತಂತೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಗಾತ್ರ ಅವಳದ್ದು ಅಂತ. ಅಷ್ಟು ಕೆಟ್ಟ ವಿಕಾರವಾಗಿದ್ದಂಥವಳು. ಅವಳು ಹೇಗಿದ್ಲು ಅಂದರೆ ಇಡೀ ಕಾಡಿನಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಋಷಿಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ತಪಸ್ಸು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದರೆ ತಪಸ್ಸು ಮಾಡುವ ಋಷಿಗಳನ್ನೆಲ್ಲರನ್ನೂ ಕೂಡ ಅಲ್ಲಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂತಿದ್ರೆ, ಈ ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯ ಈ ಟ್ರೈನಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಹೋಗುವಾಗ ಗಿಡ್ಲೆಕಾಯಿ ಬಂದರೆ ಬಾಯಿಗೆ ಹಾಕ್ಕೊಂಡು ತಿಂತಿರ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಹಾಗೆ ಋಷಿಗಳನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಕಡಲೆಕಾಯಿ ಬಾಯಿಗೆ ಹಾಕ್ಕೊಂಡು ತಿಂತಿದ್ಲಂತವಳು. ಆ ರೀತಿ ಮಾಡೋಳು. ಅವಳನ್ನು ಕೊಲ್ಲುವಾಗ ಒಂದು ಸರ್ತಿ ರಾಮ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ, ಹೆಣ್ಣಲ್ವಾ ಅಂತ. ವಿಶ್ವಾಮಿತ್ರರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಹೆಣ್ಣು ಅಂತ ನೋಡಬೇಡ. ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಸಂದರ್ಭ ಹೇಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ, ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಗುರುಗಳು ಒಳ್ಳೆಯ ದೃಷ್ಟಾಂತವನ್ನು ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದರು. ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಎಲ್ಲಿಯಾದರೂ ಕೆಲವು ಸಂದರ್ಭಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಯುದ್ಧ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಟೆರರಿಸ್ಟ್ಗಳ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಯುದ್ಧ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಅವಳು ಹೆಣ್ಣು ಅಥವಾ ಗಂಡು ಇದನ್ನು ವಿಚಾರ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಯಾರಾದರೂ ಕೂಡ. ಒಬ್ಬ ಟೆರರಿಸ್ಟ್, ನಿಮಗೆ ಕೆಲವು ವರ್ಷಗಳ ಹಿಂದೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಈ ಛತ್ರಪತಿ ಶಿವಾಜಿ ಟರ್ಮಿನಲ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಕೆಲವರೆಲ್ಲ ದುಷ್ಟರು ಬಂದು ಏನು ಕಂಡವರನ್ನು ಕೊಲ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಕ್ಕರಲ್ಲಿ ಶೂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಶೂಟ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಯಾರಾದರೂ ಕೂಡ ಶೂಟ್ ಮಾಡತಕ್ಕಂಥ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯರ ಮೇಲೆ ಶೂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರುವಂಥ ಒಬ್ಬ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಅವನು ಹೆಣ್ಣಾಗಿದ್ದರೆ, ಅಯ್ಯೋ ಅದು ಹೆಣ್ಣು ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಹೇಗೆ ನಾವು ಅವ್ರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಯುದ್ಧ ಮಾಡೋದಂತ ವಿಚಾರ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಯಾರಾದರೂ ಕೂಡ? ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯ ಜನರ ರಕ್ಷಣೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ದೃಷ್ಟಿಯಿಂದಾಗಿ ತಾಟಕೆಯನ್ನು ಸಂಹಾರ ಮಾಡತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ಬಹಳ ಯುಕ್ತವಾದದ್ದು ಅಂತ ರಾಮನಿಗೆ ಹೇಳಿ ವಿಶ್ವಾಮಿತ್ರರು, ಅಂದರೆ ಹೇಳೋದಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು, ರಾಮನಿಗೆ ಬೇಕು ಅಂತಿಲ್ಲ, ಅಂದರೆ ಹಿರಿಯರ ಮೂಲಕ ಹೇಳಿಸಿಕೊಂಡು ಕೆಲಸವನ್ನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಮಾಡಿದ ರಾಮ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಅಂತೂ ಕೆಟ್ಟ ದುಷ್ಟವಾದಂಥ ಸ್ತ್ರೀಯಾಗಿದ್ಲು ಈ ತಾಟಕ ಅನ್ನುವವಳು. ಅದರಿಂದ ಅವಳ ಒಂದು ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿತ್ವವು ಕೂಡ ಹಾಗಿರುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಇನ್ನು ಇರುವ ಸಮಯ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ ನಾನು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಅವಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ. ಇನ್ನು ಅದೇ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತೊಬ್ಬಳು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ ನಮಗೆಲ್ಲ ಬಹಳ ಹತ್ತಿರದವಳು, ಅಂದರೆ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ನಿತ್ಯ ಸ್ಮರಣೆ ಮಾಡತಕ್ಕಂಥವಳು ರಾಕ್ಷಸ ಸ್ತ್ರೀ ಅವಳು, ಮಂಡೋದರಿ. ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ಒಂದು ಸರ್ತಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಸುಮನಾಚಾರ್ಯ ಅವಳ ಉಲ್ಲೇಖವನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿದರು. ಆ ಮಂಡೋದರಿ ಎಂಥವಳು ಅಂದರೆ ಅವಳ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿತ್ವ ಬಹಳ ಅದ್ಭುತ, ಅವಳದೊಂದು ವಿಚಿತ್ರವಾದ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿತ್ವ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಅಸುರಳವಳು, ರಾಕ್ಷಸಿ. ಆದರೆ ರಾಕ್ಷಸಿಯಾಗಿದ್ದರೂ ಕೂಡ ನಿತ್ಯ ನಾವು ಅವಳನ್ನು ಸ್ಮರಣೆ ಮಾಡುವಷ್ಟರ ಮಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಎತ್ತರಕ್ಕೆ ಏರಿದ್ದಾಳು ಅವಳು. ಎಷ್ಟು ಎತ್ತರಕ್ಕೆ ಇದ್ದಾಳೆ ಅವಳು ಅಂದರೆ ಅವಳನ್ನು ಅಹಲ್ಯ, ದ್ರೌಪದಿ, ಸೀತಾ, ತಾರಾ, ಮಂಡೋದರಿ ತಥಾ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳುವಾಗ ಮಂಡೋದರಿಯನ್ನು ಸ್ಮರಣೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ. ಆ ಎತ್ತರಕ್ಕೆ ಬರಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಕಾರಣ ಏನು ಅಂದರೆ ಅವಳು ಮಯ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥ ಮಯಾಸುರ, ಅವನೇ ಲಂಕೆಯನ್ನು ನಿರ್ಮಾಣ ಮಾಡಿದವನು. ಆ ಆ ಅಸುರ ಏನಿದ್ದಾನಲ್ಲ ಅವನು ಇವಳನ್ನು ಅಂದರೆ ಅವನಿಗೊಬ್ಬ ಹೆಂಡತಿ ಹೇಮ ಅಂತ ಅವಳ ಹೆಸರು. ಹೇಮ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥವಳಿಗೆ ಮಂಡೋದರಿ ಹುಡ್ತಾಳೆ. ಅವಳಿಗೆ ಮಂಡೋದರಿ ಅಂತ ಹೆಸರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ವ್ಯಾಖ್ಯಾನಕಾರರು ಹೇಳುತ್ತಾರೆ. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಮಂದ ಅಥವಾ ಮಂಡ ಅಂದರೆ ಈ ನಮ್ಮ ಕಡೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕಟ್ಟಿರುವೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಇರುವೆ. ಈ ಇರುವೆಯಂಥ ಸೊಂಟ ಅವಳಿಗಿತ್ತಂತೆ, ಅಂದರೆ ಅಷ್ಟು ತೆಳುವಾದ ಸೊಂಟ ಅಂತ ಅವಳದ್ದು. ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ ಮಂಡೋದರಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಬಹಳ ಚೆಲುವೆ ನೋಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ, ಭಾರಿ. ಅವಳನ್ನು ನೋಡಿದರೆ ಒಂದು ಸರ್ತಿ ಮಹಾ ಮುತ್ತೈದೇವಳು ಅಂತ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಅಂಥ ಸೌಂದರ್ಯ ಅವಳಲ್ಲಿತ್ತಂತೆ. ಎಷ್ಟು ಸೌಂದರ್ಯ ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಸಂಗ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಈ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಸಂಗ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಏನು ಅಂದರೆ, ಈ ಸುಂದರಕಾಂಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಹನುಮಂತ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ ಅಂದರೆ, ಈ ಲಂಕಾಪಟ್ಟಣಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋದ ಮೇಲೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಲಂಕೆಯಲ್ಲಾಗಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಈ ಸೀತೆಯನ್ನು ಹುಡುಕುವಾಗ, ಅನ್ವೇಷಣೆ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಸಂಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ, ಒಮ್ಮೆ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಸುಖದ ಸುಪ್ಪತ್ತಿಗೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಹಾಸಿಗೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಒಬ್ಬ ಸುಂದರವಾದಂಥ ಸ್ತ್ರೀ ಮಲಗಿರ್ತಾಳೆ. ಆ ಮಲಗಿದಂಥ ಸ್ತ್ರೀಯನ್ನು ನೋಡುವಾಗ ಸಂತೋಷ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಹನುಮಂತನಿಗೆ. ಎಲ್ಲ ಸೀತೆ ಸಿಕ್ಕಳು ಅಂತ, ಸೀತೆ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿಬಿಟ್ಲು, ನನಗೆ ಖುಷಿ ಆಯ್ತು, ನಾನು ಬಂದ ಕೆಲಸ ಮುಗೀತಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಖುಷಿಯಾಗಿ ಅವನು ಕಪಿ ಆದ್ರಿಂದಾಗಿ, ಕಪಿಗಳು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತವೆ ಸಂತೋಷ ಆದರೆ, ಒಂದು ಸರ್ತಿ ತಮ್ಮ ಬಾಲ ತೊಗೊಂಡು ತಾವೇ ಮುತ್ತು ಕೊಡೋದಂತೆ, ಒಮ್ಮೆ ಇದ್ದಕ್ಕಿದ್ದಾಗೆ ಸರಸರ ಅಂತ ಮರ ಹತ್ತೋದು, ಕೆಳಗಿಳಿಯೋದು, ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ಆಸ್ಫೋಟಯ ಮಾಸ ಚುಚುಂಬ ಪುಚ್ಚಂ ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ವಾಲ್ಮೀಕಿಗಳು. ಖುಷಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಖುಷಿ ಆಗೋಯ್ತಂತೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದು 10 ನಿಮಿಷ ಆದ ನಂತರ ಮತ್ತೆ ಹನುಮಂತನೇ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿದಂತೆ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಇವಳು ಸೀತೆ ಆಗಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ? ಯಾಕೆಂದರೆ ಸೀತೆ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂತಾದರೆ ಸೀತೆ ರಾಮನನ್ನು ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬಂದವಳು. ರಾಮನ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬಂದಂಥ ಸೀತೆ ಇಂಥ ಸುಖದ ಸುಪ್ಪತ್ತಿಗೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮಲಗಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯನಾ? ರಾಮನ ಬಿಟ್ಟಂಥ ಸೀತೆಗೆ ನಿದ್ರೆ ಆದರೂ ಬರಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯನಾ? ಸಾಧ್ಯವೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಆದರೂ ಇವಳು ಇಷ್ಟು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಮಲಗಿದ್ದಾಳೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಇವಳು ಸೀತೆ ಅಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಅಂದುಕೊಳ್ತಾಳೆ. ಇವಳು ಸೀತೆ ಅಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ವಿಮರ್ಶೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ ಈ ಪ್ರಸಂಗದಲ್ಲಿ. ಅಂದರೆ ಇದು ರಾಮಾಯಣದ ಮಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಆಗಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ವಾಲ್ಮೀಕಿ ರಾಮಾಯಣವನ್ನೇ ನೋಡುವವರಿಗೆ ಏನೂ ಅನಿಸೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಆದರೆ ಮಧ್ವ ಸಿದ್ಧಾಂತದ ಹಿನ್ನೆಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅಧ್ಯಯನ ಮಾಡುವವರಿಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲೊಂದು ಗೊಂದಲ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಏನು ಅಂದರೆ, ನಮಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಸಿದ್ಧಾಂತದಲ್ಲಿ, ಮಧ್ವ ಸಿದ್ಧಾಂತದಲ್ಲಿ ಆಚಾರ್ಯರ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಾಗಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹನುಮಂತ ನೋಡಿದ್ದು, ಹನುಮಂತ ನೋಡುವಾಗ ಮಂಡೋದರಿಯನ್ನು ನೋಡಿ ಸೀತೆ ಅಂತ ತಿಳಿದ, ಸೀತೆ ಅಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಆಮೇಲೆ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡ. ಅಂದರೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಏನು? ಮೊದಲು ಸೀತೆ ಅಂತ ತಿಳಿದು ಆಮೇಲೆ ಸೀತೆ ಅಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಅರ್ಥಾತ್ ಹನುಮಂತನಿಗೆ ಮೊದಲು ಒಂದು ಭ್ರಮೆ ಬಂತು ಅಂತ ಅರ್ಥ. ಸೀತೆ ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಲ್ಲ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಸೀತೆ ಅಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಂಡ. ಆದರೆ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂದರೆ ವ್ಯಾಸತೀರ್ಥರು ಒಂದು ಕಡೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳುವಾಗ ಅಭ್ರಮಂ ಭಂಗರಹಿತಂ ಅಜಡಂ ವಿಮಲಂ ಸದಾ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳುತ್ತಾರೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ಆನಂದ ತೀರ್ಥರಿಗೆ, ಆನಂದ ತೀರ್ಥರು ಅಂದರೆ ಹನುಮಂತನಿಗೂ, ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಭ್ರಮೆಯೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. ಆಚಾರ್ಯರಿಗೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಭ್ರಮೆ ಇದೆ, ಹನುಮಂತನಿಗೆ ಭ್ರಮೆ ಬರಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯವೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಭ್ರಮೆ ಎನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. ಆದರೆ ವಾಲ್ಮೀಕಿ ರಾಮಾಯಣವನ್ನು ನೋಡುವಾಗ ಅದು, ಅಂದರೆ ಇದು ವಾಲ್ಮೀಕಿ ರಾಮಾಯಣ ನಮ್ಮ ರಾಮಾಯಣ ಬೇರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋದು ಬೇರೆ. ಆದರೆ ವಾಲ್ಮೀಕಿ ರಾಮಾಯಣವನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಪ್ರಮಾಣತ್ವೇನ ಅಂಗೀಕಾರವನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿ ನಾರಾಯಣ ಪಂಡಿತಾಚಾರ್ಯರು ಅದನ್ನು ಪ್ರಮಾಣ ಅಂತ ಸ್ವೀಕಾರ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಈ ಪ್ರಸಂಗವನ್ನು ಹೇಗೆ ಕೂಡಿಸೋದು ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಬ್ಬರು ಸತ್ಯಧರ್ಮ ತೀರ್ಥರು ಅನ್ನುವರು ಸುಂದರಕಾಂಡಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ವ್ಯಾಖ್ಯಾನವನ್ನು ಬರೆದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಆ ಸುಂದರಕಾಂಡಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಬರೆದಂಥ ವ್ಯಾಖ್ಯಾನದಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ಈ ಪ್ರಸಂಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಹನುಮಂತ ಅವಳನ್ನು ನೋಡಿ ಸೀತೆ ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ. ಅದು ಭ್ರಮೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ ಅಂದರೆ ಭ್ರಮೆ ಅಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಹನುಮಂತ ಹಾಗೆ ನಟನೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು ಅಂತ. ಯಾಕೆ ಆ ರೀತಿ ಮಾಡಿದ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಉದ್ದೇಶ ಇತ್ತಂತೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ಅವಳನ್ನು ನೋಡಿ ಅದ್ಭುತವಾದಂಥ ರೂಪ ಲಾವಣ್ಯ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಸರ್ತಿ ಕುಣಿದು ಕುಪ್ಪಳಿಸಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ, ಅಂದರೆ ಇದರ ಮೂಲಕ ಜಗತ್ತಿಗೆ ಏನು ತೋರಿಸಿದ ಅಂದರೆ ಇಷ್ಟು ಸುಂದರವಾದಂಥ ಹೆಂಡತಿ ರಾವಣನಿಗೆ ಇದ್ದರೂ ಕೂಡ ಪರಸ್ತ್ರೀಯರ ಮೇಲೆ ಕಣ್ಣು ಹಾಕ್ತಾನಲ್ಲ, ಎಂಥ ದುಷ್ಟ ಇವನು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ತೋರಿಸ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಹೀಗೆ ಇದು ಆ ಹಿನ್ನೆಲೆ ಎನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಅದಕ್ಕೆಲ್ಲ ವ್ಯಾಖ್ಯಾನವನ್ನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತಾರೆ. ಇದು ಮಂಡೋದರಿಯ ಒಂದು ವೈಶಿಷ್ಟ್ಯ. ಅವಳಿಗೆ ಇವಳದ್ದಾದ ನಂತರ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಈ ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ಇಬ್ಬರು, ಅಂದರೆ ಶೈಲೂಷ ಮತ್ತು ಸರಮ ಅಂತ ಇಬ್ಬರು ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. ಶೈಲೂಷ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ ಅವಳು ಈ ವೈರೋಚನನ ದೌಹಿತ್ರಿ, ವಜ್ರಜ್ವಾಲೆ ಅಂತ. ಅದು ಅವಳ ಹೆಸರು ಕೂಡ ವಿದ್ಯುಜ್ಜಿಹ್ವಾ ಅಂತಲೇ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಅವಳನ್ನು ಶೈಲೂಷ ಅನ್ನುವವಳನ್ನು ವಿದ್ಯುಜ್ಜಿಹ್ವಾ ಅಂತಲೇ ಕರೆದಿದ್ದಾರೆ ನಾರಾಯಣ ಪಂಡಿತಾಚಾರ್ಯರು. ಅಂತೂ ಶೈಲೂಷ ಅನ್ನುವವಳು ಏನು ಅಂದರೆ ಒಬ್ಬ ಗಂಧರ್ವ ರಾಜನ, ಅಂದರೆ ಕುಂಭಕರ್ಣನಿಗೋಸ್ಕರವಾಗಿ ಅವಳನ್ನು ಅಪಹರಣ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬರ್ತಾನೆ ಶೈಲೂಷೆಯನ್ನು. ಮತ್ತೊಬ್ಬಳು ಸರಮ ಅಂತ. ಸರಮ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ ಅವಳೇನು ರಾಕ್ಷಸ ಸ್ತ್ರೀ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಗಂಧರ್ವನ ಪುತ್ರಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಆ ಗಂಧರ್ವನ ಪುತ್ರಿ ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ ಅವಳನ್ನು ಕೂಡ, ಅಂದರೆ ರಾಕ್ಷಸನ ಪತ್ನಿತ್ವೇನ ರಾಕ್ಷಸಿ ಅಂತ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೋದು. ಹಾಗೆ ಆ ಅರ್ಥದಲ್ಲಿ ಅವಳು ಬಂದಿದ್ದ. ಅವಳ ವೈಶಿಷ್ಟ್ಯ ಏನು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ, ಸರಮ ಇದ್ದಾಳಲ್ಲ, ಒಂದೊಂದು ಹೆಸರಿಗೆ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಕಡೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಭಾಳ ವಿಶ್ಲೇಷಣೆಯನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸರಮ ಅಂತ ವಿಭೀಷಣನ ಹೆಂಡತಿ ಅವಳು. ಸರಮ ಅಂತ ವಿಭೀಷಣನ ಹೆಂಡತಿ. ಅವಳು ಯಾಕೆ ಅವಳಿಗೆ ಆ ಹೆಸರು ಬಂತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ, ಈ ಮಾನಸ ಸರೋವರದ ಹತ್ತಿರದಲ್ಲಿ ಚಿಕ್ಕ ವಯಸ್ಸಿನ ಹುಡುಗಿ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಆಟ ಆಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ಲಂತವಳು. ಅವಳು ಆಟ ಆಡುವಂಥ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗ ಏನಾಯಿತು ಅಂದರೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆಟ ಆಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ಲು, ಆ ನೀರು ಉಕ್ಕಿ ಬಂತಂತೆ, ಮಾನಸ ಸರೋವರದ ನೀರು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನೀರು ಉಕ್ಕಿ ಬಂದಾಗ ತಾಯಿ ದೂರದಲ್ಲೇ ನಿಂತುಕೊಂಡು ಆ ಮಾನಸ ಸರೋವರವನ್ನು ಸರಹ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ, ಸರಸ್ ಅಂತ ಶಬ್ದ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಆ ಸರಸ್ಸನ್ನು ಮೇಲೆ ಹರಿದು ಬರಬೇಡ ಮಾ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ಲಂತೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ಸರಹ ಮಾ ಅಂದರೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಉಕ್ಕಿ ಬರಬೇಡ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳುವಾಗ ಸರಹ ಮಾ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ಲು. ಅಷ್ಟು ಹೇಳಿದ ಕೂಡಲೇ ಆ ನದಿ ನಿಂತೋಯ್ತು, ಅಂದರೆ ಸರೋವರ ನಿಂತೋಯ್ತು, ಉಕ್ಕಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅದು. ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಅದರ ಹತ್ತಿರದಲ್ಲೇ ಅವಳು ಆಟ ಆಡ್ತಿದ್ಲ, ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ ಅವಳಿಗೆ ಸರಮ ಅಂತ ಹೆಸರು ಬಂತು ಅಂತ ವ್ಯಾಖ್ಯಾನಕಾರರು ಬಹಳ ಚಮತ್ಕಾರದಿಂದ ಅವಳ ವಿಶೇಷತೆಯನ್ನು ಹೇಳುತ್ತಾರೆ. ಇನ್ನು ಇದಲ್ಲದೆ ನಮಗೆ ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ಪ್ರಸಂಗ ಬರುವಂಥದ್ದು ಅಂದರೆ, ಈ ಹನುಮಂತ ಹಾರಿ ಹೋಗುವಾಗ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಬ್ಬ ರಾಕ್ಷಸಿ, 3 ವಿಘ್ನಗಳು ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಒಂದು ನಮಗೆ ಮೈನಾಕ ಪರ್ವತ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಸರಸ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಒಬ್ಬಳು, ಸುರಸ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಒಬ್ಬಳು, ಅವಳು ನಾಗಮಾತೆ, ಅವಳು ದೇವತೆಗಳಾಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಆದರೆ ರಾಕ್ಷಸಿ ಅಂತ ಬರುವವಳು ಒಬ್ಬಳು ಮಾತ್ರ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ಸಿಂಹಿಕಾ ಅನ್ನುವವಳು. ಸಿಂಹಿಕಾ ಅನ್ನುವವಳನ್ನು ಈ ಪ್ರಸಂಗದಲ್ಲಿ ವ್ಯಾಖ್ಯಾನ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಸತ್ಯಧರ್ಮ ತೀರ್ಥರು ಬಹಳ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಸಿಂಹಿಕಾ ಅಂತ ಅವಳ ಹೆಸರು, ಆದರೆ ಓದುವಾಗ ನೀವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಏನು ಮಾಡಿರಿ ಅಂದರೆ, ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಕಡೆಯಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಹೆಜ್ಜೆ ಹೆಜ್ಜೆಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಮೊದಲೆರಡು ಅಕ್ಷರಗಳನ್ನು ಆ ಕಡೆ ಈ ಕಡೆ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಳ್ಳ್ರಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳುವಾಗ ವರ್ಣ ವ್ಯತ್ಯಾಸಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, 2 ಅಕ್ಷರಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾತ್ರ. ಸಿಂಹಿಕಾ ಅಂದರೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಆ ಕಡೆ ಈ ಕಡೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಹಿಂಸಿಕಾ ಅಂತ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಅವಳ ಹೆಸರು ಹಿಂಸಿಕಾ ಅಂತ ಇಟ್ಟುಕೊಂಡೇ ಓದ್ರಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ಬಂದವರಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ಹಿಂಸೆ ಕೊಡ್ತಿದ್ಲು. ಇದು ಒಂದಾದರೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಪ್ರಸಂಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಅವಳಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಶಕ್ತಿ ಇತ್ತು. ಅವಳೇ ಸಿಂಹಿಕಾ ಗರ್ಭ ಸಂಭೂತ ತಮ್ರಾಹುಂ ಪ್ರಣಮಾಮ್ಯಹಂ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ ಸಿಂಹಿಕೆ ಅಂದರೆ ರಾಹುವಿನ ತಾಯಿ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ರಾಹುವಿನ ತಾಯಿ ಅವಳಿಗೊಂದು ಶಕ್ತಿ ಏನು ಅಂದರೆ, ಬ್ರಹ್ಮದೇವರ ವರದಿಂದಾಗಿ ನೆರಳು ಸಿಕ್ಕರೆ ಸಾಕು, ನೆರಳಿಂದಲೇ ಅವರನ್ನು ಎಳೆದು ನುಂಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಂತೆ, ಅಂಥ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಇತ್ತು, ಬ್ರಹ್ಮದೇವರ ವರ ಇತ್ತು ಅಂತ ಅವಳಿಗೆ. ಆದ್ದರಿಂದಲೇ ಇಲ್ಲೊಂದು ಪ್ರಸಂಗವನ್ನು ಗಮನಿಸಬೇಕು. ಏನು ಅಂದರೆ, ನಿಮಗೆ ಈ ಏನು ಸಮುದ್ರವನ್ನು ಹಾರುವ ಪ್ರಸಂಗ ಇದೆಯಲ್ವ, ನೀವು ತಾತ್ಪರ್ಯ ನಿರ್ಣಯ ಅಥವಾ ರಾಮಾಯಣ ಎಲ್ಲ ನೋಡಿದಾಗಲೂ ಕೂಡ ನಮಗೆ ಕಾಣಿಸುವಂಥದ್ದು ಎಷ್ಟು ಅಂದರೆ, ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಅವರವರ ಸಾಮರ್ಥ್ಯಗಳನ್ನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ನಾನು ಇಷ್ಟು ಹಾರ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ. ಆದರೆ ಅಂಗದ ಹೇಳುವಾಗ ಮಾತ್ರ ನಾನು ಇಡೀ 100 ಯೋಜನ ಸಮುದ್ರವನ್ನು ಹಾರ್ತೇನೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನು. ಹೇಳಿ ನಂತರ ಹೇಳೋದೇನು ಅಂದರೆ, ಆದರೆ ಹಾರ್ತೇನೆ, ಆ ಕಡೆ ಹೋದ ಮೇಲೆ ವಾಪಸ್ ಬರಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ನನಗಾಗಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ. ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹನುಮಂತ ಹೋದ ಅಂತ. ಆದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲೊಂದು ರಹಸ್ಯವನ್ನು ಹೇಳುತ್ತಾರೆ. ಏನು ಅಂದರೆ, ಸತ್ಯಧರ್ಮರು ಹೇಳುವಂಥ ಒಂದು ರಹಸ್ಯ ಏನು ಅಂದರೆ, ಈ ಅಂಗದ ಹಾರ್ತೇನೆ ಅನ್ನಲ್ಲ, ಏನು ಸಮಸ್ಯೆ ಏನು, ಅವನು ಆಮೇಲೆ ಬರಲಿಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ ಬಿಡಲ್ಲ ಅದು ಬೇರೆ ವಿಷಯ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದು ಶಿಪ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಬೋಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಅಥವಾ ಏನೋ ಒದ್ದಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬರ್ಬೋದಿತ್ತು, ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದಿತ್ತು. ಅಂತೂ ಹಾರಲಿಕ್ಕಾಗತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಆ ಕಡೆ ಬದಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾನೆ, ಹೋದ ನಂತರ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮುಗಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬರ್ಬೋದು. ಬರೋದೊಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ತಡ ಆದರೂ ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಏನಾದರೂ ಆಗ್ತಿತ್ತಲ್ವಾ. ಅದರಿಂದ ಅಂಗದನೇ ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದಿತ್ತು, ಹನುಮಂತನೇ ಯಾಕೆ ಹೋಗಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಇಲ್ಲೊಂದು ರಹಸ್ಯ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಸತ್ಯಧರ್ಮರು ಅದನ್ನು ಭೇದಿಸ್ತಾರೆ. ಏನು ಅಂದರೆ, ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗುವಾಗ ಸಿಂಹಿಕಾ ಎನ್ನುವವಳು ಇದ್ದಾಳೆ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥ ವಿಷಯ ಮೊದಲೇ ಗೊತ್ತಿತ್ತಂತವ್ರಿಗೆ. ಸಿಂಹಿಕಾ ಅವಳಿಗೇನು ಅಂದರೆ, ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಮಧ್ವರಾಮಾಯಣ ಇಟ್ಟುಕೊಂಡಾಗ ಮಾತ್ರ ಕೂಡಿಸ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ. ಅವಳಿಗೆ ಈ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮದೇವರ ವರ ಇತ್ತು. ಬ್ರಹ್ಮದೇವರ ವರವನ್ನು ಮೀರುವ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಇರುವಂಥದ್ದು ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ ಕೇವಲ ಹನುಮಂತನಿಗೆ ಮಾತ್ರ. ಮಯಾ ವರ ವಿಲಂಘಿತ ಹೆನೇಕಶ ಸ್ವಯಂಭುವಃ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಅಂಗದ ಹೋದರೆ, ಅಂಗದ ಅಂದರೆ ಚಂದ್ರ ಮೂಲದಲ್ಲಿ, ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಚಂದ್ರ ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ ಚಂದ್ರನಿಗೆ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮನ ವರವನ್ನು ಮೀರುವಂಥ ಸಾಮರ್ಥ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ ಅವನಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆದರೂ ಕೂಡ ಅವನು ಮತ್ತೆ ಹೋಗೋದಂದರೆ ಅವನು ಆ ಕಡೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾನೆ, ಅಷ್ಟು ಸಾಮರ್ಥ್ಯ ಇದೆ ಅಂದರೂ ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲೇ ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಕ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾನೆ ಅನ್ನುವ ದೃಷ್ಟಿಯಿಂದಾಗಿ ಅವನು ಹೋಗಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥ ಒಂದು ವಿಶೇಷತೆಯನ್ನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಂಹಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮನ ವರ ಇತ್ತು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ವಿಶೇಷವಾಗಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಇನ್ನು ಇದು ಆದ ನಂತರ ಅನೇಕ ರಾಕ್ಷಸ ಸ್ತ್ರೀಯರ ಹೆಸರುಗಳು ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. ನಮಗಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೀ ಹೆಸರುಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾತ್ರ ಕೇಳಬೇಕು. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಗಿದೆ ಅಂದರೆ, ಒಬ್ಬೊಬ್ಬರ ಹೆಸರಿದೆ. ಜಟ ಅಂತ ಒಬ್ಬಳ ಹೆಸರು. ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂದರೆ, ರಾವಣ ಬಂದು ಸೀತೆಯನ್ನು ಹೆದರಿಸಿ ಹೋದ ನಂತರ ಆ ಪ್ರಸಂಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಸೀತೆಯನ್ನು ಹೆದರಿಸೋದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಅಂತ ಕೆಲವರು ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೀತೆಯನ್ನು ಹೆದರಿಸಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂತಲೇ ಬರುವಾಗ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಂಥ ಸ್ತ್ರೀಯರ ಹೆಸರುಗಳನ್ನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಜಟ ಅಂತ ಒಬ್ಬಳ ಹೆಸರು, ಮತ್ತೊಬ್ಬಳ ಹೆಸರು ಭೂರಿಜಟ ಅಂತ ಹೆಸರು, ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ಬಳು ವಿಕಟ ಅಂತ ಹೆಸರು, ಒಬ್ಬಳು ಅಶ್ವಮುಖಿ, ಚಂಡೋದರಿ, ವಿಘಸ, ಅಯೋಮುಖಿ, ಶೂರ್ಪಣಕಿ, ಇದು ರಾವಣನ ತಂಗಿ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ಬಳು ಬೇರೆಯೇ, ಶೂರ್ಪಣಕಿ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ತ್ರಿಜಟ, ದ್ವಿಜಟ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಏಕಜಟ, ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ಹೆಸರುಗಳು. ಅಂದರೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ವಿಚಿತ್ರವಾಗಿದೆ ನೋಡಿ. ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು ಅಂದರೆ ವಿಶೇಷ ಗೊತ್ತು, ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ವ್ಯಾಖ್ಯಾನಕಾರರು ಬಹಳ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಹೇಳುತ್ತಾರೆ. ನಮಗೆ ವಾಲ್ಮೀಕಿ ರಾಮಾಯಣದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಗುವಂಥದ್ದು ಎಷ್ಟು ಅಂದರೆ ಅವರ ಹೆಸರುಗಳು ಮಾತ್ರ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅವರೆಲ್ಲ ಬಂದು ಕಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದರು ಸೀತಾದೇವಿಗೆ, ಅವರಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ನೀನು ವಿವಾಹಕ್ಕೆ ಒಪ್ಪಿಕೋ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ರು ಅಂತ. ಆದರೆ ಕೊನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ವ್ಯಾಖ್ಯಾನಕಾರರು ಹೇಳೋದು ಬಹಳ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ. ಅವರ ಹೆಸರಲ್ಲೂ ಒಂದು ವೈಶಿಷ್ಟ್ಯ ಇದೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ರಾಕ್ಷಸರಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಅವರೆಲ್ಲ ತುಂಬ ಸ್ಟೈಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರಂತೆ. ರಾಕ್ಷಸ ಸ್ತ್ರೀಯರು ತುಂಬ ಸ್ಟೈಲಿಶ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತಿದ್ರು ಅಂತ. ಅಂದರೆ ಕೆಲವರು ಏಕಜಟ, ಅಂದರೆ ಜಟ ಅಂದರೆ ಜಡೆ ಅಂತ, ಕೆಲವರು ಒಂದೇ ಜಡೆ ಹಾಕ್ಕೊಳ್ತಿದ್ರಂತೆ, ಕೆಲವರು ದ್ವಿಜಟ 2 ಜಡೆ ಹಾಕ್ಕೊಳ್ತಿದ್ರಂತೆ. ಮತ್ತೊಬ್ಬಳು ನೋಡಿ, ಇವಳು ಸೀತೆಗೆ ತುಂಬ ಹತ್ತಿರ ಆದವಳು, ತ್ರಿಜಟ ಅಂತ ಹೆಸರು ಅವಳದ್ದು. ಅಂದರೆ ಆ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಅವಳು ಹೇಳೋದೇನು ಅಂದರೆ, ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಬಂದು ಹೆದರಿಸಿದಾಗ ಅವಳನ್ನು ಹೆದರಿಸಬೇಡಿ, ಅವಳನ್ನು ತಿನ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಬೇಡಿ, ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂದರೆ ನಾನೊಂದು ಸ್ವಪ್ನ ಕಂಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ ಅಂತ ಸ್ವಪ್ನದ ವೃತ್ತಾಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ನಾನು ವಿವರಿಸೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಆದರೆ ಸ್ವಪ್ನದ ವೃತ್ತಾಂತದಲ್ಲಾಗಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಭಾಳ ಅಂದರೆ ಸ್ವಪ್ನಶಾಸ್ತ್ರವನ್ನು ಓದಿ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ ಭಾಳ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅದು. ಅಂತೂ ತ್ರಿಜಟ ಎನ್ನುವವಳೇನಿದ್ದಾಳೆ, ಆ ತ್ರಿಜಟ ಎನ್ನುವವಳು ಅವಳನ್ನು ಮಧ್ವಾಚಾರ್ಯರು ಹೇಳುವಾಗ ತ್ರಿಜಟ ಎನ್ನುವವಳನ್ನು ಮಾತ್ರ ವಿಶೇಷವಾಗಿ ಅವಳು ಸೀತೆಗೆ ಸಹಾಯಕಳಾಗಿದ್ದು ಸೀತೆಯ ಸೇವೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದರಿಂದಾಗಿ ಅವಳೇ ಮುಂದೆ ಆಗಬೇಕಾದರೆ ತ್ರಿಜಟೆನೇ ಕೃಷ್ಣಾವತಾರದ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಸುಭದ್ರೆಯಾಗಿ ಹುಟ್ಟಿದ್ಲು. ಅವಳು ಸುಭದ್ರೆ ಆದದ್ದರಿಂದಲೇ ಅದು ಎಂಥ ವಿಶೇಷ ಅಂದರೆ 2 ಪ್ರಸಂಗಗಳನ್ನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಸತ್ಯಧರ್ಮರು. ಒಂದು ಮಂಡೋದರಿ ಏನಿದ್ದಾಳೆ, ಮಂಡೋದರಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ ಅವಳು ಈ ರಾವಣನೇ ಜಯನಾಗಿ ಹುಟ್ಟಿದ್ದು ದ್ವಾರಪಾಲಕನಿಗೆ ಶಾಪದಿಂದ. ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ ಜಯನ ಹೆಂಡತಿಯ ಮಂಡೋದರಿ ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ ಅವರಿಬ್ಬರ ವಿವಾಹ ಆಯಿತು ಅಂತ. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ತ್ರಿಜಟೆ ಏನಿದ್ದಾಳೆ, ತ್ರಿಜಟೆ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥವಳು ಆಗ ಹುಟ್ಟಿದ್ಲು, ಅವಳೇನೆ ಮುಂದೆ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾಳೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಸುಭದ್ರೆ ಆಗ್ತಾಳೆ. ಸುಭದ್ರೆ ಆಗೋದ್ರ ಮೂಲಕ ಅಂದರೆ ಇಂದ್ರನಲ್ಲಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ವಿಶೇಷವಾಗಿ ಏನು ಅಂದರೆ ಸೀತೆಯ ಸೇವೆಯನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ಲು. ನಮಗೆ ಮಧ್ವಾಚಾರ್ಯ ಒಂದು ವಿಶೇಷತೆ ಹೇಳುತ್ತಾರೆ, ಏನು ಅಂದರೆ ಸೀತೆಯ ಪ್ರತಿಕೃತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂದ್ರನ ಆವೇಶವೂ ಕೂಡ ಇತ್ತು ಅಂತ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂದ್ರನ ಸೇವೆಯನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಿಂದ ತ್ರಿಜಟೆ ಮುಂದೆ ಏನಾಯಿತು ಅಂದರೆ ಅವಳೇ ಸುಭದ್ರೆಯಾಗಿ ಇಂದ್ರಾವತಾರಿಯಾದಂತಹ ಅರ್ಜುನನನ್ನು ವಿವಾಹ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಳ್ಳುವಂಥ ಪ್ರಸಂಗ ಬಂತು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ವಿಶೇಷವಾಗಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಸತ್ಯಧರ್ಮರ ವಿಶೇಷತೆಗಳಿವೆಲ್ಲವೂ ಕೂಡ. ಹೀಗೆ ಜಾತಾ ದೇವಕ್ಯಾಂಸ ಸುಭದ್ರೇತಿ ನಾಮ್ನಾ ಭದ್ರ ರೂಪೇಣ ಆನಕ ದುಂದುಪೇಸ್ತಾಂ ಕೃತ್ವಾ ಪುತ್ರೀಂ ರೋಹಿಣಿ ಸ್ವಾಂ ಅರಕ್ಷತ್ ಪೂರ್ವಂ ತ ಯಾ ಆಸೀತ್ ತ್ರಿಜಟೈವ ನಾಮ್ನ. ಹಿಂದೆ ಯಾರು ತ್ರಿಜಟ ಅಂತ ಇದ್ಲೋ ಅವಳೇನೇ ಸುಭದ್ರೆ ಆಗಿದ್ಲು ಅಂತ ಅವಳ ವಿಶೇಷತೆಯನ್ನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಹೀಗೆ ರಾಕ್ಷಸ ಸ್ತ್ರೀಯರ ವಿಶೇಷತೆಯೆಲ್ಲ ಇದ್ದಾವೆ. ಬಹಳ ಹೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕಿತ್ತು, ಆದರೆ ಸಮಯ ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ಅಲ್ಪ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು ಸೂಚನೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅದರಿಂದ ಕೆಲವೊಂದನ್ನು ಮಾತ್ರ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಆದರೆ ನಾನು ಹೇಳಬೇಕಾದಂಥ ಅನೇಕ ವಿಷಯಗಳನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ನನ್ನ ಪೇಪರ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಸೇರಿಸಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ತುರುಕಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಅದನ್ನು ಅಧ್ಯಯನ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಓದಬಹುದು. ಹೀಗೆ ಅದನ್ನು ವಿಶೇಷತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳುತ್ತಾ ಮತ್ತೊಮ್ಮೆ ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಸಭೆಯ ಅಧ್ಯಕ್ಷತೆಯನ್ನು ವಹಿಸಿರುವಂಥ ನಮ್ಮ ಉಪೇಂದ್ರ ರಾವ್ ಅವರು ಅಂದರೆ ಅವರು ನನ್ನನ್ನು ಮರೆತಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಆದರೆ ನಾನು ಅವರಿಗೆ ನೆನಪಿಸಿಕೊಟ್ಟೆ ಆಗಲೇ. ಅವರು ದಿಲ್ಲಿಯಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಾಗ, ನಾನು ಡೆಲ್ಲಿಯಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಾಗ J.N.U ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಒಂದು ದಿನದ ಮಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಅವರ ಕ್ಲಾಸನ್ನು ನನಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದರು. ಅಂದರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿರುವ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ಮಧ್ವ ಸಿದ್ಧಾಂತದ ಬೋಧನೆಯನ್ನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ, ಮಧ್ವ ಸಿದ್ಧಾಂತದ ಪರಿಚಯ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಅವರು ನನಗೊಂದು ಅವಕಾಶವನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದರು J.N.U ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೆ. ಮತ್ತು ಅಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಾಗ ನಮಗೆ ಪೇಜಾವರ ಮಠಕ್ಕೆ ತುಂಬ ಸನಿಹರಾಗಿ ಹತ್ತಿರವಾಗಿ, ಮತ್ತು ನಾನು ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೋಬೇಡಿ. ಅವರು ಮೂಲತಃ ಆಂಧ್ರೀಯರವರು, ನಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ತಿರದ ನೆರೆ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರದವರವರು. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಅವರ ಭಾಷೆ ಬಹಳ ಸುಂದರ. ನಾನು ಅಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಾಗಲೇ ಅವರ ಕವಿತೆಗಳನ್ನು ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ. ಅವರು ಆಂಧ್ರತ್ವಂ ಆಂಧ್ರ ಭಾಷಾಚ ನಾತ್ಯಲ್ಪ ತಪಸಪ್ಪಲಂ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಹಾಗೆ ಅವರ ಭಾಷೆ ಅದೆಲ್ಲವೂ ಸುಂದರವಾಗಿರುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಅವರಿಗೂ ಮತ್ತೊಮ್ಮೆ ನಾನು ವಂದನೆಯನ್ನು ಸಲ್ಲಿಸ್ತಾ ತಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಅಭಿನಂದನೆಗಳನ್ನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ನನ್ನ 2 ಮಾತುಗಳನ್ನು ಮುಗಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ. ಕೃಷ್ಣಾರ್ಪಣಮಸ್ತು.
ಮಾತೃಭಾಷೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅರ್ಥವಾದಂತೆ ಬೇರೆ ಯಾವ ಭಾಷೆಯಲ್ಲೂ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡಿಸಿಕೊಟ್ಟ ಸತ್ಯಮೂರ್ತಿ ಆಚಾರ್ಯರಿಗೆ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು. ನೌ ಐ ರಿಕ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ chairperson to give chair message to us.
So we are very happy to conclude this first session, but this is a conference, first session of this conference only, but in hall 3, because simultaneously first session is being held in different halls. So we had really very interesting papers, and learned papers also. So I liked all papers, particularly this Srinidhi Pyati. He raised many important issues which are very serious in nature, which we had to think very seriously and we had to consider them. And also other K.S.S. Suman, Dr. K.S.S. Suman has nicely presented with perfect narration and about the women. Instead of empowerment of women, he said women empowerment in Ramayana. So, empowered women. But women empowerment is written here, subject. You change it later, okay. So, in this way, and also Satchamurthy in Kannada, very nicely explained in Kannada, various things. All these papers are very interesting, and this Ramayana conference in Purna Prajna Vidyapeetha. And even though Purna Prajna Vidyapeetha is very traditional institution, but now I think, I don't know, previously some international conferences are organized here? Already organized. So, very much good experience for all scholars, those who came from outside. And particularly, we have entered into this premises, which was established by Pejavara Swami Vishwatirtha. I remember at least some 20 years ago, I think, my father-in-law brought me here that time. My father-in-law, General Gadda Adishashaya, has brought me, and Swami Vishwatirtha was sitting in the temple. Now we are going to Sabhagraha, no? There is a right side, there is a temple, small temple, Puja Mandira. There Swamiji was sitting, and we had discussion, and he blessed us. That time Dr. Varketi also was here only. I saw him. He was teaching here, I think, that time. Or studying, I think. So, such a great place actually. We are very much happy to visit this Purna Prajna Vidyapeetha and to hear all these papers, particularly Ramayana. Ramayana is very important poem and very famous, as I told. Yavat sthasyanti girayah saritascha mahitale tavad Ramayani katha lokeshu pracharishyati. And here we find many scholars, those who are working on various subjects. Many books, very interesting books are published here. Just now I saw in this library. So this is all very inspiring. And these books should be available to all scholars in all over India. Many books actually are found here, very interesting books. So once again I thank all these paper presenters, those who perfectly presented, and all those who are sitting here listening to the paper presenters, paying very good attention. This normally we see, very rarely we see in such some conferences. So in northern side of India, we have plenty of conferences nowadays, and sometimes I feel that we are losing the seriousness. The paper presenter just keeps on working, just reading, and people are doing their own work in mobiles. And other people say that just you stop. 5 minutes only they give time. All this is not good situation for the academics, but this here we find some good perfect situation and good academic environment here. Those who are presenting also perfectly presenting and listening all people carefully. This, I think, this is a great tradition actually. We are upholding in South India, southern part of India, I think. This is the reason for it, because in spite of Ramayana, this culture came from Ramayana, Mahabharata and Sanskrit, all that, but we are still upholding this culture.
And we are following so much for great extent. That you can see in the life of Dakshinatya Jivana Paddhati. Our food is like that, and our way of life is like that, and our thinking process is so constructive. So in this way, we can see all those things in this session. I thank and coordinator Dr. Sanjeevacharya Deshpande, very patiently he coordinating everything. Initially there was some problem with this PowerPoint presentation, all that. So I think next time they should be, organization should be little bit half an hour advance, they should keep everything ready. And then Sanyojaka, and also we have, after this we have one Vishishta Vyakhyana, I think, some in common room. And I thank coordinator and I thank all paper presenters, and I respectfully express my humble pranamas to Swamiji, who came all the way to listen to our papers in our session. And I thank all audience. Somebody said, Shrotaraha eva Tratara. So you are all Shrotaraha, you are most important actually, more for this session. So I thank all of you, all Shrotas and also Patakas. Thank you very much. Yes, yes.
Now I request chairperson to distribute certificates to scholars. Dr. K.S. Suman. Dr. K.S. Suman, please take a certificate.
Actually, it's my privilege. Actually, I had met Dr. Upendra in 2011 in his university, J.N.U, where we had one international conference organized, and he was the chairperson of Sanskrit and Indic studies then. So again, and even in Mulbagal, various other international conferences. But after a long time, I am really privileged to receive the certificate from.
Next, Dr. P. Vinaya Acharya. Dr. Srinidhi Pyati. Dr. J.K. Satyamurthy. First of all, we thank chairperson for his politeness, because he only started the session first of all. So I thank him for his politeness, and also various scholars who presented the papers here, Dr. K.S. Suman, Dr. P. Vinaya Acharya, Dr. Srinidhi Pyati, Dr. J.K. Satyamurthy, and also the listeners who listened these papers. So we thanks all of you. By his permission, I will conclude this session here. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu.